what time it is. Little black book, movie soundtrack. Little black book, yeah. You know what time it is. Yeah. You know what time it is. This feels way too similar. Contempt is trying to kill you. The dating game is messed up. No accountability, nobody wanna fess up. I'm in it deep, but I don't know if he loves me, or if he's just here for the company. I spent my last time trying to see it through. Pockets empty, still don't know if you'll come through. We're real familiar, I've seen this play before. Leaving my heart and my wallet at the door. Is it real or just a cycle on repeat? Walking on eggshells on these city streets. This feels way too similar. Contempt is trying to kill you. The dating game is messed up. No accountability, nobody wanna fess up. I'm in it deep, but I don't know if he loves me, or if he's just here for the company. Don't wanna fess up. Why we always gotta mess up? Searching for the truth in a little black book, but I'm scared to give it one more look. Too similar. Too similar. Yeah. You know what time it is. Little black book, movie soundtrack. Little black book, yeah. You know what time it is. Yeah. You know what time it is. This feels way too similar. Contempt is trying to kill you. The dating game is messed up. No accountability, nobody wanna fess up. I'm in it deep, but I don't know if he.
Don't rush me. Just listen. I'm here.
You said my name like it was finished, like you already made your peace. I smiled like I was okay, but inside I couldn't breathe. Since September we've been building, so how you drop it overnight? I'm not here to make you stay, I just need one moment right. I'm not asking you to change, I'm asking you to be real.
Give me 1 hour with your heart.
1 honest minute in the dark.
Don't hand me, you'll be fine.
Like I'm easy to discard.
If this is goodbye,
Don't make it cold,
don't make it quick.
don't lose control. You can leave, I won't fall apart, but don't abandon me. Give me 1 hour with your heart.
What's up, y'all? Can everybody hear me? I am working through some technical difficulties, so forgive me. If somebody could just put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. All right, perfect. Thank you, Miss Lewis. So we getting ready to start. This is the takeover. Um, no Kojo tonight, Fritos Paw. He may grace us with his presence, but Kojo is on an international travel journey, so he will most likely not be with us. He said he was going to be with us, but seeing as how he is not with us now, highly unlikely, you know. So in the time zone he is in, it is morning time. So I don't know. Let's see. But we got a couple heavy hitters with us tonight that are going to share their insights on part 2 of this reunion. I got to tell you, the reunion was the highlight of the season. I think, you know, they could have trimmed off a few episodes and just given us the reunion, and that would have been enough. So we have, you know, I don't know about lots to unpack, but we got a couple of things to unpack. The social media landscape has been on fire the last couple of days since a couple of things have dropped down the pike, or a couple of weeks actually. You know, we got weddings, we got breakups, we got potentially spinning of the blocks, we got, you know, lots to discuss and talk about, you know. So let's get into this and just kind of dive in and get everybody's perspective. So please, as y'all always are, you know, be engaged in the chat, get these likes up. I think we got about almost 200 people right now in and, you know, watching. So please, let's just, you know, like the live. It's free. You know, feel free to give us some super chats for myself and our great hosts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my panelists that are here with me to you know, make this special. Now, the person I'm going to bring up first, she's not a super fan of the AI, so I am going to spare her an AI introduction as I bring her up. But she is, you know, she is a veteran amongst us, a longtime supporter, a longtime panel member. She holds the door. I call her the head usher because she holds the door to the chat with fervor and fire, and she don't play about you know, holding folks accountable for what they say and what they shouldn't be saying. So I am going to bring up El Cid. Come on through, El Cid.
Hey Sean, I can see you. I can't see me.
Let me listen. I don't know what I did with this I did something with this batter at the top, and now it just stressed me out. I wish I would have left that thing out. Hold on 1 second. I need to remove.
Just under the screen, you'll see the different patterns.
Oh, okay. Oh, listen, I haven't run my own channel in so long. I'm like,
this means you need to, you know, stretch your legs.
okay, so that's one, and I want to get rid of these altogether. I want blank. Hold on. So I changed the panels, but I want to remove.
Hey y'all, yeah, it's just technical. Okay, you know, size matters, Deacon. Size matters.
Don't do not start. You hear me? We're gonna have to shut this whole live down before it gets started. Okay, all right. I think we good. Elle said you already started off with a bang, so thank you. Thank you for the technical assistance. We're gonna have to add IT director to your list of titles.
What do they call it in church? What ministry is that?
That's the media ministry. That's the media ministry. Believe it or not, I was part of that ministry. But seeing as how I haven't exercised that task in quite some time, it is showing.
Yeah, it is.
Who do we have? Do we have her? Do we have her do we have her AI overlay? I'll mess around and shut down the whole live trying to find. Oh man, I wish I had it. Let's see what we got. Well, you know what? Oh, okay, okay. Next up, we have your favorite Esquire, an opinionated persona that never holds back. She gives it to us straight, no chaser. And, she is not going to hesitate to tell us where to go and how to get there. So let's cue up her intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming in heavy, introducing our guest speaker, My Way, the Only Way.
What's up, Seaway?
Hey, now I'm gonna tell you. You know how to fix it.
Please. What do I need to click on?
The viewing is on the bottom. You zoom it like the.
You want me to pull back, right?
Yeah, it's at the bottom row. Oop, that's too far back.
Follow instructions, Deacon. Oh, that's
listen. She said the bottom row. That was
it's
it.
on the bottom. Okay, bring us back.
right under. It should be. There you go. Woohoo! Yeah.
Woo, that's it, guys. Don't ask no more from me. If y'all
remember
want
which setting. Remember the setting.
All these new buttons and places in StreamYard. I am struggling. Let me tell you.
Yeah, well, you did good with the intro, so.
Lord, see, they done already tuned into your channel, Sid, and Haitian Empress is already aware of the video in question, but we're gonna touch on that. We'll talk about that a little later.
Of the mechanical of it all, we gotta get
Woo! So yeah, we have some good insight. Listen, my plan is not to be before y'all too long. So we're really looking to keep this 2 hours. That is the goal. We might be tempted with some super chats to go longer, but I think the goal is 2 hours tonight. What y'all think, Elsa and Seaway? You think that's doable?
That's good. I'm exhausted. These kids got me tired.
So
give the people what they want.
Yes, let's keep it brief, and we're gonna have some fun. So I don't have any clips. So we're just gonna start off really from the top. I'm gonna rely on you, Elsa, because I know you are accurate. You are like the church secretary as well, so you kind of know where things are. You know how things are lined up and how it starts. I think at the top of the second part of the reunion, did we kick it off with? Was it Nicole? Did we come back to Nicole?
No, we started off where we left off, Bello and Dom.
Oh, yes, that's right. So it was Bello and Dom. And Dom was trying to get her words out around what transpired with her and Bello and the breakdown of their relationship. I think maybe
Can you get Abby's ball, please?
That is not feasible at the moment because if I do that, then we might not have a live. So the ball is all the way underneath the sofa, and I think Abby does this on purpose. This is the scheme that Abby set up to come at me with the ball, because we have gone out on a walk right before this, and this, Seaway. In the brutal New York weather, we were out in the cold walking to make sure she had a good time, but she will be the center of attention always. So I'll get to her in a second, or she'll figure it out. But we had Dom trying to figure out what, trying to explain to us what really took place with her and Bello. I was a little perplexed. She wasn't really getting out her point to me. It sounded like there was a dinner in question that was $400. Bello left the table. He was back there holding court and being bedazzled. So anybody else, any of the thoughts around the Dom and Bello of it all?
I picked it up, but I'm gonna let Elsie go first.
Which part? Because Bello was complaining that he got to take Dom and her daughters out all the time, and the bill is too high, and he paying bills. I need specifics. I need amounts, and I need which bills is he paying. Because again, and how long is this? I thought this was only like 2 months since the show ended. So how many bills is he paying in 2 months? But anyway, Dom set her boundaries. She told her man, I need you to be paying bills and he was paying bills. So now he complaining about it. But I wonder, because here's the thing, Dom's, and I don't talk about people's children, but the only mention I will make of her children is her girls are adults. They're over 18. So why are we going out constantly all week with the girls?
Are all of them over 18? I don't think so.
I thought the last one, but I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong. I was just like, why are we constantly?
For all of her kids to be
right.
Neither here nor there, but I don't think they're all over 18. I think they're teenagers. Some realm of teenagers, whether it's 19, 17, 16. I think they're teenagers.
Gotcha.
But the problem is, this is what I've been saying from the beginning. Dom unfortunately let her guard down, and she wasn't able to communicate what actually happened because she was caught up. She got caught up in her feelings, caught up in her emotions, so she wasn't able to properly communicate everything that Bello did. But what I did get from what she was trying to communicate is that she says that she's a cook, right? She cooks her home cooked meals. We saw her meals on the show. He was taking them out because that's just what a man does. And when the bill came, which she said was $400, not $600, which makes a little bit more sense, he was hiding in the bathroom trying to move money around to pay for the bill. And I don't know how many times this happened, but it seemed like it was often. But what it seems to be the hurtful part is that she does mention, and we've heard from sources about this before, that he tried to get money from Dom's brother, sister, cousin, and them for his little project at the border. She said no, and then shortly after, all of a sudden, she can't have kids. He's Muslim. The dad don't like it. And the financial situation, blah, 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 blah. So I think what she was trying to get across is, you made it about my womb, about the religion, about X, Y, and Z, when really it's about the fact that my brother, cousin, whatever, turned down the financial request, and now it's a problem. And so at the end of the day, Bello's full of it. And he knows how to bring up things that we all would be like, oh, that makes sense. She's totally Muslim. I'm totally Muslim. She's Christian. It's not going to work. Oh, that makes sense. I want kids. It's going to be hard for her to have kids. None of that was the issue before it was the issue. It seems like before he couldn't get the money that he requested. And so that's what I took from it. But I think she would have been able to articulate that better if she wasn't so upset. But I can imagine, what he did or how he made her feel was so upsetting. She's probably too emotional to, express it. That's what I got from it.
And remember, Dom never lied to him. She told him that up front about, her stance on children, and everything. So for him to now say, yeah, after sitting with it for a while, sir, you've been sitting with it. You've been sitting with it. You knew from the get-go, and she told you what would happen. Then you met her parents. The dad say he ain't about that. So, Bello basically was lying to himself. But hey, he'd been lying to himself about that hairline all season. So I'm not surprised.
He's not lying to himself. He's lying to us. He's being very truthful with himself. He knows what he's doing. He's scamming. And he showed up in that, and you saw his attire. He showed up in the traditional wear just to scam. Who puts on the traditional wear just to scam? But I mean, at some point we gotta read between the lines, and we gotta, I'm sorry. And maybe this is just me. I'm really moving into like my mid-30s era. I'm almost at my woman of a particular age era. I'm getting there. But Dom is closer to a woman of a particular age than she isn't. And so to get scammed by Bello and be all in her feelings by Bello, I feel bad, because I feel bad for all women who are unfortunately victims at the hands of these men. But when you're pushing a woman of a particular age that have been around and done lived, I don't even know how she got by Bello. She didn't get fully got because she didn't give him no money, but she was almost there. Sean?
Yeah, I think the thing that kind of threw me about a lot of this is, did we miss the red flags? Because on so many ways they were misaligned, and each of them were willing to disregard the red flags that they were showing in each other to move forward. He had a fresh baby. She already had explained to him some of the challenges that she had around fertility, wanted to make sure he was okay with that. He still pressed forward. Religion, which is a big deal, because he's traditional, whatever that means for him. And she comes from a Christian background with her father being a pastor. She says she don't need to listen to her father, her parents. She, does what she wants to do. I just think all of those things, how many red flags are we willing to breeze by? There has to be a point where you're like, let me not just get caught up in my feelings, because I think that's what I saw, like their feelings, their emotion, whether it was chemistry, whether it was lust, whatever they had going on, had them both blinded, and they tried to push forward. And then he ultimately is telling her on Christmas Eve, get somebody else to do it, So I mean, I think he didn't handle it correctly, but I also feel like Dom should have seen some of the red flags very early on before, she just pushed forward for all steam ahead to dive into this relationship and be all in.
And he picked that day for a reason. I'll never forget when a dude that I didn't even want to talk to, my parents were wanted me to talk to him at the time because I was at law school. He was already on his way to being partner at a large firm. I told my parents that he was a goofy. They told me they wanted me to try to, give it a go. I gave it a go, and I should have went with my first mind. And that man tried to stop talking to me, and he chose to write me on Christmas talking about, I don't think this is going to work on Christmas. When men do that, they're trying to hurt you. Surprise, surprise, I'm sure that was one of the biggest regrets he's ever had. But, especially because you're not going to get the reaction. You didn't get the reaction out of me that that you probably wanted when he picked Christmas Day. But when these men pick Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, yeah, they're trying to humble you. They're trying to make you feel away. They're trying to have you sad. And he did that on purpose. That's a very nasty thing to do.
Correct, because he knows how to read a calendar. It says it on the calendar. It's Christmas Eve and it's Christmas Day. He knows what season it is. And he knows she's Christian. So he knows the importance of this time. So for him to do this,
the holidays, I'm not. I don't know those because he doesn't observe the Christian holidays, so he's not aware. He don't have a Christian calendar.
So he don't have a cell phone calendar, because the cell phone calendar got it.
But the saddest part is there's gonna be a few women out here. Few women of actually, I bet they'll be beautiful. They have something going for them to be like, you know what? He just didn't have a calendar. And they'll give Bello a chance with all of this information, even with his wife or two that he allegedly has. And that's the reason why the Bellos keep going, because there will always be a pick-me, low self-esteem, I want to learn on my own type of woman that will see all this information and give it a go. And this is why it doesn't stop. Dominique thought she was different too.
I know it's Android and some people don't. My Android has it on it. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas. So I'm sorry. That excuse about the calendar, it's on there. You don't have to observe it, but it's on there for you to see clear as day.
I'm going to try not to comment on the Android. That's not your fault, I guess.
There will be no Android slander on this live.
Well, ma'am, check your iPhone and see if your December calendar has the holidays listed.
It's America, and I know a lot of things is going haywire around here. But one thing we do know is Christmas, and that don't matter. Everybody know whether you celebrate it or not. He's full of it. This is not even worth any further additional conversation. He's ridiculous.
Listen, I think the timing was very inconsiderate for sure. and it just shows that even if he didn't have the proper calendar, that he wasn't thinking about when he was delivering this message to her. And I saw somebody in the comments say, and I'm not a big fan of this tactic, and I think it's a tactic that he wants to be a gentleman, so he's not going to say all the reasons that he did what he did. But there's more to it. If you are a gentleman, then you won't say it and you won't imply it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a big person when it comes to that. Like, if you're going to imply it, you might as well say it. Because it's one and the same. You're trying to offshoot the blame. You're trying to say something without saying it, and that's in a lot of times that's actually worse, because you allow people to think and create their own narrative versus whatever you're saying. So either you're going to be a gentleman and remain silent and keep your answer as to what it was, or you're just going to tell the truth in terms of how you felt and what you thought. Yeah. So I'm not a fan of that. Like, I think you just stand like Dom said, stand on business about her. You need to stand on business about it. So whatever it is, say what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not sure what that whole holding court was, even in the background, telling people that he spent $600 when it was actually $400. I don't really know, what that was all about at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're taking a bunch of people, her family out, what's the big deal? What are we doing? This is not an everyday occurrence. And look, I wasn't a fan of some of the things that Dom did, but she cooked that brother some oxtail. She laid that food out. I don't know why he couldn't just bite the bullet and pick up the tab and talk about, let's just keep it moving, right? You want to make a good impression. First of all, none of these guys, I didn't really see none of them when they was meeting the families and meeting the parents, bring a flower, a gift, a bottle of wine, a nothing. So this 400, or even if it was 600, this was a first dinner. You should be doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, especially we're fully grown. He's talking about, he's building multi-million-dollar real estate developments with $600. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure why he was making that a big deal, but to me, yeah, just say you got in over your head. We were misaligned. I don't think we're on the same page, and to just pull the rug under her like that, I just don't, I don't think that's cool.
Those dinners were just like little short-term investments for his giant size scam that he was trying to get, or money that he was trying to get out of Dominique's family. And when it didn't work, he was like, look, whatever money I invested into this project is sunk costs, and I'm out of here. He would have had a case if he never asked her for such a large sum of money. If he would have actually just like went about his business, be like, look, we're not aligned, it's not going to work, we all would have believed that they weren't aligned from the beginning. But it just didn't give that. So anyway, Bello, what we got next?
Anything else with Bello and Dom before we move on? Nope. All right. So who did we have next after that? Was it Nicole?
Which part of Nicole? Because Nicole had several moments.
Just guide us through, Elsie. We know you know.
I did not rewatch it before this live because I had too much to do. So,
excuse me.
You know what I was doing.
I know what you was doing. Somebody said it was Devon. I'm like, Lord, no, please. We're not ready for Devon yet.
Do we got to do that one next?
It wasn't Devon next.
I ain't got it up.
Where would you like to go, Deacon?
Everybody's saying
let's skip around because I want to save Devon and Nicole for a little bit later.
They said Nicole and Vince. No, that wasn't this episode.
No, people were talking about how we didn't do that last time.
Oh, you know what? We surely did not. We surely did not. Yeah, we could go there. Because that was the surprise. Because we had Lauren and we had Ashante up here, so we didn't really dive into a lot of the other.
And there was also Steven talking to Shannon. That was close to next. I don't know if that was fully next, but that was also a part.
Okay, I'm down. Which way do y'all want to go first? We could go there or Vince and Nicole.
Because let's do Nicole all in one. Let's do Steven and Shannon.
And Shannon.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, the thing about this whole setup, and I'm not sure if Tommy's intentions are to just make amends or like try to like see what's there, what scraps there are to, piece together. But I just hate that he always tries to get people to spin the block on each other when they didn't initially work out. Like he did that to Steven and Shannon. He asked Steven, it was very emotional in terms of he showed the clip of her, her being told she's not ready to love. And then Steven consoling her. And then he comes back and is asking Steven, like, is there something there? I seem to see some emotions. I'm a firm believer. And listen, I'm a guy, the last time I checked, and I just happen to believe if we wanted to, we would. It's kind of a cliche expression across social media, but look who's joined us. Well.
Yeah, he can help guide us.
It's Mr. Vacation himself has blessed us with his presence.
Hey,
look at that. But yeah, I just feel like if Steven wanted to collect Shannon, and she's a friend to Shannon's a friend to the a good friend of ours, Mercedes, who made an appearance, and we'll touch on her too later. But if he wanted to, he would have collected her. And Steve again was lackluster, very lackluster when Tommy asked him, would you give it a chance? And he was like, see, you don't want that. We want enthusiasm. You know what I mean? We want some enthusiasm. And unfortunately, I don't think Steve's person is here. Maybe Steve's not ready. I got a little, let me bring out my teacup. I got a little behind the scenes tea about Steven. Nothing bad, but it's just, he probably wasn't ready at this time, just based on some things that transpired, right? So it didn't seem like there was going to be nobody here that was going to be for Steven at this time, and that's okay. So I'm glad at least he didn't drag anybody along to try to say, let's make this work, let's do this, when he knew that it wasn't going to go nowhere.
I agree, Sean. It just seems like Steven wasn't, perhaps in the true sense, ready to love. I don't know if he was ready to kind of pour himself out there. The streets are saying he definitely got out of a relationship that didn't end so well for him. And he probably was still dealing and processing that. And I don't know if he saw anybody on the show that, really was for him. I have to say, and we won't get into this now, if Shannon was talking to Steven the way she was talking to Mr. Devon, I don't know if Steven would be interested. I don't know. It seemed like they had a really, really great, rapport on the show. But Steven is also such a gentleman. I think whatever was causing him not to be fully in with Shannon, because in my opinion, he seemed way more in with Lauren. He seemed like if he was in with anybody, he seemed to really like Lauren. He's not going to tell us. He's not going to tell us. Oh, look at Kojo. So Who knows what it is? But at this point, Tommy got to do his job too. He got to ask the questions. He got to see, if there's something there. I think with this case, it was a valid question because their rapport seemed so like genuine on the show. But yeah, if Steven didn't collect her the first time, he's not going to bend the block. So.
Master Kojo of the Tropics.
Yo, what's good, man?
What's up, bro?
Yeah, man. What's going on? I'm hearing you guys talking about Steven.
Yeah, Steven and Shannon.
Yeah, man. Interesting. Steven and Shannon. Well, shout out to obviously Steven. Everyone said he was nice. Everyone said he was cool. Everyone said he was all right. Do you know what I mean? So, whether he was emotionally available for the show, another question. I think he was cool with Shannon. I don't think it was ever gonna work. I don't think he was even fully interested. I just think he was somebody who just cared enough to be able to be responsible with Shannon and not do too much. But I don't think he was ever really fully interested in Shannon. I think she might be the closest thing that he might have ever wanted to maybe someone who could be a girlfriend. But I don't think actually was something that he actually wanted. If I'm honest with you, I didn't see it, for them as well. So yeah, nobody had smoke for Steven because I guess he was never somebody who was rude or disrespectful or mean or anything of those kind of things in that space. So I think it was it was doomed from the start, man. You know what I'm saying? Does he look like somebody who loves the pearls? I don't know if he does. And I'll leave it there.
Elsa, what's that face about?
Does Kojo know the double entendre he just laid? I don't think so.
I told him about it when he first started bringing up Shannon's pearls, but it might have slipped his mind.
Look, he's on a dream vacay. He ain't think about no double entendre.
No. Yeah, so Seaway, I started spilling the tea, but Seaway pretty much spilled it. He came out of a bad breakup. It was a very significant relationship, and it was a very bad breakup, where I believe there was, could have been infidelity or something like that. So on the other, on her part. So.
Oh, wait, you got cheated on?
Yeah. Yes, Coach.
It's like the tax and then just out the window.
Exactly. Kojo's like the little brother. He just gonna just spill it all. I was trying to delicately dance on the tea, but he just
that'll really do it. He got cheated on.
That's it.
This is not the show for it, boy. If you got cheated on, this ain't the show to come back on from. You need to go and do some work. Yeah, that's painful. You ain't going to trust no women. You're not going to be available to them. Like, us men take it much harder because, again, we don't, maybe I wouldn't say we don't often get cheated on, but when, again, the ego, all that kind of stuff, call it patriarchy, what you want to call it. When that happens to you, bro, the world is shaking. And I'm not saying it doesn't shake for women, but I mean, when that happens to you, the world is absolutely crumbling in front of you, You'll start singing Adele, just to make yourself feel better. So probably not the best time to be on the show if that was in close proximity to the infidelity that he suffered. I mean, do we know how bad it was?
I mean, it has to be bad when, what is it, Ashante offering you to put some lotion on her legs and he still act like he don't know what to do?
True.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, and maybe that was the problem in his last relationship. That could explain some things too. I don't know what was going on.
Not your victim blaming.
I mean, I guess that's just odd. Cheated on or not, if Ashante come to me, ask me to put some lotions on, I'm a woman, I'll probably put some lotion on. Like, what are you doing?
I would have put lotion on. Yeah.
Yeah, we said that last week. That bottle would have been out and pumped and with the lotion on her legs in no time. She wouldn't even
because
have
I gotta say, I'm not trying to victim blame, but if this is even remotely what was going on, I see why that girl was outside and not inside. Because you running away from Ashante asking you to put lotions on Steven. Good sir, what are you doing?
No, but
maybe he had hope.
He was hurt. That was what it. That's why he reacted that way. He wasn't ready to be vulnerable just yet. Some people.
No, he don't want it. He has hope to get back with the ex, and he don't want to be seen rubbing lotion on another woman.
Right.
That could be
Or
a
he's
true
just too
point.
scared to be vulnerable again and get hurt. Because I think
mean-
that's another part of it, you know? And he took it bad, you know? And
Okay.
he just wasn't, he was a little afraid to, you know,
It's
get
a very
back in there again.
That's
Okay.
a very sensible take, Sean.
Some guys
I
are
personally
slow
think-
burns.
I'm sure his girl probably told him a story that how she cheated, she used lotion as well. And that was triggering for him. And that just came, it got brought back up. It got brought back up.
What?
Flashbacks.
What
You know
kind
what I
of
mean?
narrative?
I'm saying, maybe she said about her knees and he got triggered. Now you have to think these things be happening to people. You know what I mean? He was probably triggered. You get me?
Kojo, how do you become the worst one out of us four?
Exactly.
You know what? It's the sun. It's
You
10
know
degrees
what?
here. That's probably what
Because
it is.
he's really cutting up because he feels like he's just a panel member and this isn't his channel.
Yeah, we need him to bring
Now I
back
see
the
why you
bucket
look
hat and some prayers. Bring back the bucket hat and some prayers, please.
It's fun being able to say some of these things, man. I tell you, yeah.
He's been doing this for like three super panels straight. He ain't missing no words. He gonna tell it how it is.
Well, Hussein
Yeah.
says he don't believe there was any interest there either. So he's
With
weighing in.
who and who? With Ashante and Steven?
And Steven.
That's not the point. The point is a baddie asked you to put some lotion on the legs. Put some lotion on her goddog legs.
And if we want to be a little messy, since Hussein want to jump in the chat, lend his ear. We heard your name has been swimming around the Detroit cast, sir. You know, so you got some interest. You got some interest with the Detroit cast because we heard you've been busy. You know, our streets are to the ground. You know, we may not be the tea spilling network over here, but you know, we get a little spot of tea every now and then. Don't laugh, don't laugh.
I did hear that.
We need words, not emojis, bro.
We hear, we see him. We see him wherever he lands.
Exactly.
Wherever he pops up with more than popcorn.
So, you know, well, listen, I don't want to beat up on our good brother Steven. He is dealing with some heartache and heartbreak. So I don't think he's ready to love, you know, which we saw. So I think that was the best place for him was to, you know, just ease on down the road and heal his heart until he's ready to get back out there again.
But he definitely seemed like a very nice, respectful guy. He wasn't looking to scam or take advantage of any woman, and that shouldn't be applauded, but hell, nowadays it needs to be. So I'm glad he just was peacefully not ready to love and went about his day.
By the way, we have another panelist from across the pond who is ready to give us some of his opinions, sometimes jolting, sometimes even keeled. We don't know. We may get a little bit of both.
I know you didn't send JR no link. JR here?
Yes, yeah.
Where JR been at?
JR said he's coming out of witness protection to come and bless us with his presence. So
He's been around.
What's up, JR?
Yo, what's happening, people? Hope everyone's well. Busy, been working, hiding in the shrubs, observing while I'm here.
Hey, JR.
Hey, how you doing? Okay, all good?
Yes. So tell us as we're about to migrate off of Steven and Shannon, what are your thoughts on those two?
Man, I think they had potential early on, but Steven just wasn't into her like that to pursue her. And just hearing the tea that was just spilled, I can kind of see like more context, more background. I kind of understand why he may have been more timid around the ladies. Too soon for him to get back out into the dating scene if he's still recovering from the breakup. And we would have all villainized him if he had like used any of the ladies as a rebound or anything like that. So I can see why he moved that way. Unfortunately, this is speed dating. So if you're not connected with none of the ladies, then eventually you're going to get sent home empty-handed. I think he does have some regrets, though. You can see when he consoled her at the retreat when she got sent home. You can see like on this particular reunion, like he's kind of open to giving it another chance if she'll have it. But I think that he may have missed the boat. I think he didn't capitalize on the opportunity And maybe because he couldn't, he just wasn't ready at the time. He wasn't ready to love. So that's what I got for him.
Okay. So we're going to ease on down the road. Oh, we see there's a couple folks. We see Mercedes in the chat. So maybe, Mercedes, you let us know. You let us know. You are your family here. So if you want to come and join.
We got to bring her up.
And lend us your insight. You were the all-star of the reunion. I got to tell you that. So if you want to, spend some time in the chat or you want to come through, let me know. I'll send you that link. So I don't know if the timing is right or not, but I think after that we have the Devon segment or the Devon. Is it Devon or Devon? I messed his name up. Is it Devon?
Devon. Well, we can, if you want to keep moving things around, we could talk about Ashley and what's his face.
Oh, Ashley and Darius.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can definitely get to that because that was a little bit of a debacle. I mean, again, another ending that didn't shock me. I don't know how, when you guys are starting off a relationship and you're in tears, how do you expect it to go any differently? So I was just a little bit like, what were you expecting to happen when you were on the verge of a mental breakdown when you guys were at the bridge getting ready to choose each other? You thought that was going to go well at the beginning? I mean, if the beginning is rocky, how are things supposed to play out later down the line? Then we got Vince taking Ashley out for shopping sprees. Yeah, Vince was the what do we say, Kojo? The dark horse. He was the dark horse that nobody saw racing down the track. No, I mean, taking Ashley on shopping sprees. Hey, who would have thunk it? So.
But Vince is petty enough just to do that to spite Darius, That's honestly, it may not even have nothing to do with nothing for him. He literally just be giving it out. For what reason? One reason or another. I do want to say Lauren may do enough for people to clock her and get her when she's actually wrong. What I didn't like is Ashley bringing in Lauren when she didn't do anything really. That's the part I didn't like. Like, get Lauren when she's actually doing something. Bringing her into like your dysfunctional relationship with Darius to me was bizarre and a reach. And it really gave credence to this idea that Lauren was saying, that people were just scapegoating her and using her name for X, Y, and Z, which honestly is unfortunate because I definitely, and we talked about this when Lauren was up here on the page, I definitely feel like there's things that Lauren could have done differently. Her interactions with the women could have been better. Just understanding, just how to get along better with women and how she's showing up in different spaces. But it's kind of hard to get that point across when you got Ashley using her name for absolutely no reason at all. Her calling Darius when she has no reason, no one believes that she likes Darius. Is that the reason why their relationship broke up? Was weird. And then when Tommy pushed it, she's like, no, it's because he wasn't spending enough time. He wasn't trying to get to know me. He was doing X, Y, and Z. And then there's stuff that we heard behind the scenes that I won't repeat that's even crazier. So, come on now.
Elsa, what's your thoughts on the Darius and Ashley of it all?
Why was Tommy trying to push them back together? I just didn't understand that. It's like, okay, they're not together. I mean, we all kind of saw it was kind of lopsided. We all saw Ashley struggling, crying at the decision time. So it was not far-fetched. Not far-fetched that it would be fizzled out by now, okay? Because what did Darius's sister say? Any pretty lady around him, he gonna put to work? Was he trying to, put Ashley to work? I don't know. But here's where Tommy failed me. I needed Tommy to ask if those were real fur. Tommy failed me. You know, Ashley, do you still have that gift? Is that a real fur? Was that a real fox? Tommy, you need to ask the real questions we're asking out here. That's why these reunions happening way too early. We don't even get like fan questions in. So I'm not surprised at all, but they let Darius skate all the way by in this reunion. If you all clock it, Darius skated all the way by.
JR.
Yeah, I think Ashley was like, she was just too torn. Like, it wouldn't have worked. Like, she wasn't 100% invested. I think the slightest thing that Darius did, she would have been out of there. And I think Darius, obviously we heard some revelations come out about his previous dating history and all of that. Maybe that might have hit home after the filming ended. But they also had an age gap, and they also disagreed on, the whole traditional submissive conversation as well. So I think Ashley was she was kind of conflicted going through the whole relationship with Darius. And I think when Lauren made the call, that was her exit. That was her reason to end it. And she felt the need to do that. So I think she, it wasn't even the main reason, but she said it was the cherry on top of the cake or whatever. It's like the last straw. So she had enough of him, and she's been on social media trashing him as well. So she just weren't feeling him like that. And I think with Darius, I think his confidence has been kind of triggering for a lot of people. He's very flamboyant. And people expected him to be probably the major villain of the season. But then we heard about Vince's shenanigans, and Vince came and snatched it at the line and took it from Darius. So everybody thought Darius was going to be a player. And for what we know, he didn't do anything with Lauren or anything like that. He didn't even have that many connections on the show. Just Ashante and Ashley, really. And Lauren, he knows from a professional background. So, yeah, I think Ashley just used it as a way out to kind of end things. And she probably made the right decision, considering he's got 4 children, and as well as all the other stuff that I mentioned about him.
Can you guys hear me?
Brother Bali.
Is my sound clear?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, because I know sometimes crackling at my end. Ash unfortunately got caught up in the game with Darius. And like I always say, both men and women, it takes 2 to tango, right? See, dealing with toxicity often is a revealer of your own toxicity. You know what I'm saying to you? And unfortunately, with Ashley, she danced with the devil. And when you dance with the devil, you catch some flames, you catch some heat. And in this instance, I don't understand why Lauren got brought into it. I don't get why Lauren was introduced into the situation. Like, if Darius was messing around, say he was messing around, own it, and you bring your evidence, or you say what evidence you have. Cascading Lauren and then bringing her into the situation as to why you don't trust him is nuts work, right? It didn't sound like Darius lied to you about there being a business relationship, and you're like, oh my God, he lied about the business. You didn't say those things, right? Or unless it's edited, because it's not what everything said. So I think in this instance, Ashley, I just think she needs to be accountable for her own choices, bro. Sometimes you choose badly, and you just need to own that you chose something that you don't need, and it's not for you. Do you know what I mean? Rather than putting it off on the other person, because as much as I think Darius is not great, I'm gonna be honest with you. From what we hear from the streets, it ain't looking good when it comes to Darius. Let's be very, very real, okay? But But in this instance of when you two are actually dating, right, you have started liking him for some reason. You started getting closer to him, started having greater intimacy with him in terms of emotion. So, you were crying at the end. And so the way it breaks up, I think we're all a little bit confused. It's like, so what's the real reason? You know what I mean? Like, what is the real reason as to why? So it gives that you were deflecting rather than owning your issues. And I think that's a problem Ashley has a lot of times. She deflects. And this is what a lot of people do when they don't want to be accountable for their choices they're making. They want to blame the universe. They want to blame the sky. They want to blame the aunties, uncles, brothers and cousins. At some point, you have to be accountable for choices you are making. Relationships, most of us are not dragged into a relationship. You have to be able to be accountable for choices by saying, this is what I chose. I recognize the mistakes I've made, and I'm not going to bring somebody else in to be accountable for my choices. So, yeah, I just, I know that was the camel that brought the straws back, but that shouldn't have even been a straw, because there was nothing going on between Lauren and Darius in that instance. So, I just think that she needs to be accountable in that. But yeah.
Yeah, I see people saying that they're kind of happy that she called Lauren out. And I definitely can see how people are frustrated that Lauren seems to be always in the mix. Her name, she's always calling, or some people may view it as her way of showing that she can keep a close relationship with these guys, whether she wants them or not. I get the frustration, but where it seems to be uneven is like, people have all this smoke for Lauren, for example, with the Vince and Donna situation, yet somehow Nicole was the one actually smashing Vince. Ashley was the one trying to get free dates and shopping sprees for Vince, but none of that really seems to be directed towards them, and the smoke was directed towards Lauren. With the Darius situation, Darius probably had 5 billion other reasons as to why the relationship with him and Ashley didn't work out. But Ashley chose to highlight at best an annoying call from Lauren. That's where it doesn't seem to add up. People should be actually agitated with Nicole, perhaps, or other people. I don't know. But this whole thing with like Lauren, I'm just like, can we make it even? Even smoke, at least. So.
Well, they did say, Lauren and Darius had said they've worked together before, just like Lauren and Ashanti have worked together before. So there's that connection. I mean, which would she prefer? That was when I was listening to that. Would you prefer if Darius didn't tell you who was calling? He was very open. He's like, hey, I got to call Lauren back. Oh, Lauren is calling. He could have told her, it's about business, but should he have kept it from you, then it would have created another wave of an issue. So the fact that he's like, hey, I got to call Lauren back, they have been doing business together before the show. So it's not unheard of that she would be calling him. So yes, I do agree that maybe Ashley used Lauren's name as an out. Because she didn't say it was a habit with a whole bunch of women. She just called out Lauren that we saw.
So
yeah.
I got a song. You like to hear it? Here we go. This one, I'll be impressed if y'all can guess the artist. You'll probably have heard the song before, but guessing the artist, I'd be very impressed. So here it goes. Just give me a second and let me tell you how I feel. Because all around town, you've been stepping out, running your mouth about what made you think I wouldn't find out. Wasn't I there for you, truly cared for you? Maybe my love was just too good. Could have had it, good, now the love is gone. And went back to your hood with the 5411 on. Does he lace you with the finer things? Does he make you want to scream my name?
What's the 504? What's that group? 304, 50, next? What's the group? It's a group.
No more shopping sprees.
No rough ends.
That's it.
No, rough ends.
That's it. Yep.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely not 3 or 4, Seaway.
Sorry, I was getting it. I was finding
3
it.
or 4.
I found it. I was finding it.
You got there. I think you was thinking 702, the group 702.
Yeah, but I think I beat the whole chat. I said it. Yeah, I did.
That's it. All right, so I think we
David area codes. My brain was processing because I do the song.
Yeah, I think that sums up Darius and Ashley. Unfortunately, let's hope they don't spend any blocks. Well, based on what Ashley told us in the Facebook group chat, she regrets the day she ever laid eyes on him. So I can confidently say she is done. There is no spinning of any blocks. And she has closed the chapter and the door to her and Darius. So
I wish she would have actually highlighted more about that, why she regrets ever meeting him, and less about some nonsensical phone call from Lauren. That I think that's everybody's issue with Ashley. She doesn't seem to have a lot of self-reflection or accountability about why she finds herself in the places that she does. So. And spending time in that Facebook group, I'm sorry. If I ever went on Ready to Love, I would never be in that Facebook group. You're never going to be able to control those aunties in there in that Facebook group. They going to do whatever they want to do. I don't even go in that Facebook group.
JR, any thoughts before we move on?
Well, Ashley, I just said in the chat, like, Ashley didn't really have any other connections other than maybe Cardi. And Darius was clearly like her strongest connection for a while. So, she was obviously conflicted by something, and I suspected something she saw in him. Like, she just didn't see him as being like long-term, what she ideally would be looking for, but he was probably the best of a bad bunch. The other thing is, from what I saw, he's been quite open to dating her. He's let her drive the car when her car wasn't there. He's bought her the matching furs. He's kind of told her that she was his number one and he was locked in. But yeah, it just wasn't enough this time around. And they looked like there was a little bit of hostility on her side. And as I said, seeing the social media post that she's made, she does kind of seem like she's over it now. So it's something that's taken place off camera that's really put her off of him completely. And he's cool with it. I don't think he has any problem charming other women and acting very flash around them and attracting more and more girls. So yeah, it's just one of them things. Connection just didn't work.
Lauren's in the chat. Hey, Lauren. We got a lot of folks in the chat.
Yeah, agreed. Well, listen, I see y'all saying some people want to check out the Facebook group. It is, you got a request to be entered in. So, you can go and ask. I think one of the administrators is Lex from the Never Ever Mets. I believe she is one of the administrators over there of that Facebook group. So, nevertheless, I think it's
over there.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough crowd. I just pretty much mind my business for the most part.
Are you in there, Sean?
Huh?
Are you in there?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been in there probably for like the last year, quietly. I'll drop a comment every now and then. Nobody's cussed me out yet, so I'm trying to not stir up any, not ruffle too many feathers and get kicked out, because you can get kicked out real quick.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we're gonna move on. I think now we gonna have to dive into Nicole. Now, Kojo, I need your help with the video. You said you had it, right? This is a special. We had a special video for Nicole, because when I tell you, there was a couple of people that really helped to navigate this reunion. Nicole was definitely top tier in terms of getting this reunion going. Vince was a common thread. Our good friend Lauren, you definitely, your name was a common thread carried through. It seems like everybody's connections. And then Mercedes for day 2, she came in, you know, with a punch. And yeah, so, but we definitely had to have a special for Nicole. And I mean, baby girl, I just, every time we peeling back an onion layer, it's like,
they owe Nicole a check. They owe Nicole a check because I thought I was taken out last week, but when Nicole got to Devon and the all lives matter of it all, I was through. Nicole, you did that.
She got. I want to get. I would almost bet my bottom dollar that Nicole got some type of bonus because the way I was like, wait, I didn't even know. And she was eliminated. It must have been like the 3rd episode.
Nicole said, and you, he didn't like your principles, and you, he said, you for the streets. She was laying out everything. Do. That's how she was laying it. Nothing was left in the clip with Nicole.
Yep. Dom tried to pipe up and say something. She was like, He had smoke for you too, sis. If I were you, I'd lean back.
Don was like, you told me you didn't even like her.
She said, okay. Well, he said he didn't even like your morals.
He said, you got bad morals. You for the streets. And you, sir, talk about you will all lives matter, which he did not deny. And wait, no, he said he denied that, but then she said, and you didn't vote for Kamala, and he did not deny that one. I'm like, you over here refuting all these things, but you didn't deny the fact that you didn't vote for Kamala? Devon, what's going on? And you over here doing IG lives. I know we're gonna hold on to that, but in that whole IG live, we still didn't talk about none of the stuff Nicole said. That all lives matter. The not voting for Kamala, the other not being anti-black issues.
He told us to go watch the T and the D, right? Is that what he said, Sid? Go watch the T and the D with Christina. Like, why are you going to send us on a Easter egg hunt for something that you could just very easily clarify? You didn't have a problem clarifying anything else. Why are we going on an Easter egg hunt?
We're not going to find, because if you make me work for it, I'm going to assume what she said. You didn't vote for Kamala. You said some all lives matter bull crap, and you're anti-black. That's what you're black and anti-black. That's what I'm going to assume. Ain't nobody going to T and the D to go find nothing. We ain't searching for nothing. It don't matter that much. So, no.
And listen, we got Lauren in the chat. Maybe did you hear something different, Lauren? Did he refute all lives matter / voting, you know? Because maybe that was left on the editing room floor. We know some other things were left there, so maybe that was left there.
Well, this would be a good time to get Mercedes up here. She's waiting for we supposed to be subpoenaing her. This would be
Mercedes said, "Get somebody else to do it." You're gonna have to send the Lord to her house.
He didn't say that. Is she still here?
She said that. She said, "Plead the fifth."
Her say a peep in this chat yet.
You've been here
for the last 10 minutes.
She said, "Plead the fifth."
Yep. She said, "Plead the fifth." And are you trying to subpoena me? Kojo tried to get her in. And then she disappeared. She absconded. She's in the wind.
Now we're going to have to give her a rule to show cause. Where you at, Mercedes?
That's it. We got an attorney on the platform, Mercedes. Come on.
Yes, you a rule. Where you at?
Speaking of the law, it seems like I think everybody has heard while we're waiting for Kojo to get this clip. It seems like our another couple that we got to actually know in DC is unfortunately has filed for divorce, Joy and Clifton. So that is some unfortunate news out there. And just I think the Jasmine brand broke that either Thursday or Friday. She said Jane Doe won. Mercedes.
We're
So-
issuing you a rule to show cause why you would not come and at least explain. We ain't got to talk about the mechanical of it all. You could drop off of that part, but we just trying to figure out about that all lives matter and what a witness by.
Mercedes says she know a little bit about the Lord too. She said witness by proxy.
And you cannot submit an affidavit because we are in trial.
Who's the proxy? Who's going to be your proxy, Mercedes? Name them. So yes, send some love to Joy and Clifton as they are going through, their uncoupling.
So what do you say, Deacon? Since it appears that Clifton is the one that filed, if the reporting is correct.
Yes.
What do we say when the husband is the one filing? Since we know mostly we're told that the wife or the lady is the one to file. What is this telling us?
They didn't have a traditional relationship anyway, so I don't know if we can. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be funny.
You're not trying, but you are being.
Am I being funny? I really wasn't.
You weren't, but it was funny. It was unintentional.
I'm just trying to say, like, you can assign typical male, female gender roles to them.
It's Christian.
Not for what I've seen. Not for what I've seen. And I'm
considering what we saw on the show is what exactly she's saying. That what exactly Seaway is saying. That hey, she Joy is the one going out there performing, traveling all over. She is handling her business, and then Clifton has to be the husband who is the cheerleader. In the wings. That's non-traditional.
He had businesses too. He was an entrepreneur.
I didn't say he wasn't. Okay. I didn't say he wasn't. I just said I was trying to explain how it was non-traditional.
I was more so thinking of like personality traits, more so. Yeah, I was more so thinking less so financial, more so just personality and their dynamic. Seeing their dynamic, I can't even read too much into why he filed first. It could be that they agreed that he would go out there and file. It could be that she said, I ain't divorcing you. I ain't filing the paperwork. If you want out, you do it. I can see that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go file the paperwork, you go file it. But Joy just isn't that like sit at home and crying. She just is very different. I really don't know. It's hard to read what happened with them.
Okay, well, I think we're going to move on from Joy and Clifton.
We wish them the best.
Based on everything I'm seeing in the chat, we're just going to migrate our way on to Miss Nicole. And Kojo has queued up my video. Let's see. Let's hope I don't jack this up.
Desperation has a sound.
Sorry.
That's what we've been waiting on?
Yes. Nicole, I mean, it has a sound, baby girl. I'm sorry. It's like you can't just be in everything, like, and not just be in everything, but like give people so much access to you, And I know we didn't really get to dive into it last week, but I still have secondhand embarrassment and trauma from when she was holding on to Vince in the confessional, and he told her, I don't get your makeup on me. Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm a little disturbed by that. And I just want her to to heal, you know. And I think she seems like a lovely woman, but it's too much, you know. Again, I feel like she was the star of the reunion for sure, both parts, but I also have some concerns about how many guys she was kind of in an entanglement with, you know. Devon, now we hear she's entangled with Devon, and spilling tea on Devon, and she was entangled with Vince. You know, she was in love with Ed. I mean, I'm just concerned. So, who wants to go in next on their thoughts about Nicole overall, and then Nicole and Devon?
Yeah, let me just say, I think Vince is the only one that can tame her, man. Like she afraid to lose Vince because he's the only one that she finally ended up with. So I think she came out on smoke. I don't know if she was the star of the show, but she was definitely the rose of the show. You know, a little unhinged, looking to put on her petty boots and expose pillow talk and conversations that were shared in private. I don't know if she was showing out for Vince to try and prove some type of loyalty or whatever, or to sever all the connections, burn the bridges. But was it really necessary though? So yeah, I think there's a little bit of overkill, particularly with Devon. I get it. He didn't choose her and she really liked him, and she felt a bit slighted by that. But like you said, she has actually been reaching out to quite a few of the other guys to see if there was something there, and there wasn't. Now Vince has clapped some cheeks. Vince has got her, and I think Vince is playing it very safe, trying to stay distant, because I think he may have seen some of the unhinged behavior. So he's not trying to claim her. And when she put it out there, I think that's why he was surprised. He wanted it to be on the low, and she kind of baited it all up.
I think I take umbrage on the word tame. Life is reality. I don't think Nicole's been tamed, but I know. I think she's a tick tick boom, and you don't know when the boom is going to happen, because several people saw that, because lots of people were in her blast radius. Vince got caught up, but he said, "Don't get no makeup on me," and Devon got caught up too. Okay, so for me, it's a matter of she ain't gonna hold water. She gonna tell it all, you know. And while, you know, some may revel in that fact, but she gonna tell all your business. Okay, I don't see that anybody is kind of like can trust that she's going to hold that confidence, whatever it might be. But okay, but she came for everybody. Everybody, it was equal opportunity. You gonna get it. Okay, you gonna get it. Here's the thing. I did have huge secondhand embarrassment from Nicole with the whole talking to Donna and Vince in the back. I was like, Donna, I would have walked away. Y'all handle that. But here's the thing. You know, if we flipped it, I was hoping we told that. If we flipped that moment and it was Vince trying to convince Nicole to come give him a hug, if it was Vince trying to say, hey, come here, hug me, and I was reluctant, and Nicole was reluctant, what would we call him? We'd be saying all kinds of stuff about Vince and an unwanted touch and all kinds of stuff. So while we, you know, I think a lot of people, you know, are giving Nicole a lot of, you know, leeway due to her, you know, presentation and who she is, you know, lovely young lady. I'm just seeing a lot of manipulation. I'm seeing a lot of manipulation, especially come hold my hand. I want you to hold my hand. I was like, if people don't want to, let it be. Let it be. But yeah, Nicole is a lot this reunion. Of course, this is not all who Nicole is, But again, I am basing it on what Nicole has said. She forever and a day in love with Ed since undergrad. I don't know why any of the gentlemen, considering Ed was in the picture in the midst, any of the gentlemen would even consider Nicole as, you know, someone that they may pursue. But that's just me. And then a couple weeks before the reunion, everybody's grown, everybody's single, grown folks gonna do what consenting grown folks gonna do. But here's my thing. To anybody going up ready to love, you don't mingle like that right before the reunion. You have no idea what's gonna come out on camera. Okay, that's just a little tidbit right there. So now I would like Tommy to ask Nicole, how do you feel that Vince, you know, sent Ashley on a shopping spree? And how do you feel about Vince, you know, how do you feel about all those things? Because she told him, if ever you feel that you don't want me anymore, just tell me. Yeah, nah. Total embarrassment with how Nicole was portrayed or portrayed herself.
Can I just add something? Remember when she said she doesn't like she doesn't like Devon talking to any other women. It gets her mad, right? Watching him talk to other women. How does she feel about Vince? Vince had been talking to a whole load of women from the show. So does she get mad about that? Or is it just smoke for Devon only?
Well, Lauren says Vince is generous, so perhaps.
Is that only with the wallet? I'm sorry.
Many ways, it appears.
So maybe she was more invested, you know, with Vince.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna say Nicole appears to be touched by an angel, but it seems to be the good touch that's really good for TV and is entertaining. And she seems to be walking to the beat of her own drum. I don't know if that beat will ever be a beat that I could be on, but it's definitely a beat for sure. And I think it was great for the reunion because she was walking to the beat of her own drum. She was willing to spill it and tell it how it is without kind of having kind of that catch that a lot of us would have that would get us not to go as hard. And so I was actually thankful for it because then we wouldn't have known all of Devon's shenanigans, and we wouldn't have known that Vince was laying it low and spreading it wide. And you know, we wouldn't have known a lot of things if Nicole was not walking to the beat of her own drum. But she's definitely different. I'm not telling her she got to change or not change. You know, that's going to be on her. But she's definitely different, and she ain't going to be for everybody. She's not going to be for everybody. But one thing about Vince, he likes a challenge, and he likes something that's going to pique his interest and something that's going to keep him on his toes, and that is Nicole. So if Vince is looking to be entertained, oh, I'm sure that he will be fully entertained with Nicole. I was entertained. And that just is what it is. Now everybody's going to walk to the same beat. We can't make everybody, you know, if this whole world was the same, it would be boring. Somebody got to be a little touched. Somebody got to be a little off. Somebody got to be whatever. And everybody got to fill different roles. Nicole's filling that role, and that's okay.
Yeah. I just want, you know, like, how many different guys had to tell her that they really didn't want her? That's the part, like, you know, that kind of just makes my heart hurt a little bit for her, because it's only one time, right? And Ed has had multiple times, you know, multiple opportunities to collect Nicole if he wanted to collect her. And if she wanted to be in the business of shooting her shot, she could have also done that outside of a public format. And then she still got up on the stage and said, like, I still don't know if you like me or not. It's like, Nicole, do you not know? Like, do you know? How could you not know? because I think we say it all the time, right? Silence is an answer. You know, if you ask somebody a closed-ended question and they don't give you a yes, then it's a no. You know, don't torture yourself and wonder. No need to wonder. That's the 702 song. You don't ever have to wonder. You don't have to wonder. If you ask, especially if a lady's asking a man, right? If he's interested and it's a yes or no, and he don't say yes, then it's a no. And just go on about your day, right? You know, there's that social media trend, like just read that text and go on about your day. Hear the answer and go on about your day, because there's no way you're still persisting and pursuing. You're just setting yourself up for failure. And a lot of times I think what happens is, if some guy, and I think, you know, despite Ed's, some of his, some of the things that he kind of didn't navigate this process very well in giving clear answers during the Ready to Love process and really letting the ladies get to know him. I think what he did do well was not get into a scenario and take advantage of Nicole or lead her to believe he was interested when he really wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Then they tried to like push him off to, what was it, Ashley? Because Ashley seemed to like him too. And again, these are awkward things, and it's just something that I never want anybody to do. Like, don't ever do that for me. Don't ever, if there's somebody, you know, and you want to ask her, do you like Sean? If it's not a yes, then we don't have to talk about it. It could be a behind the scenes conversation. Don't have her looking awkward and want to be like, oh, wow. No, if it ain't a yes, then we'll talk about it later. And that to me is just fine. You know what I'm saying?
You're wasting your time.
I need her to move on.
You're wasting your time. I mean, maybe you can help people who are listening, but you can't help Nicole. Nicole is like Either she gonna spend her whole life doing what she's doing now, or she gonna find somebody crazier than her. There's only two options for somebody like Nicole.
Is married and
with somebody who's crazier than her. That is my point. Those are your only two options. Okay. You either keep bouncing around doing what Nicole doing, or you find somebody kookier than you. Those are your two options. What normal person is going to be with Nicole? I'm just trying to be like, we just going to have to be honest here.
So I got a song, and I always think I'm going to challenge y'all with this song. But this song, I couldn't even find the lyrics. I had to listen to the song to get the lyrics. So this song is Nicole, if you're watching, I don't think Nicole be watching the channel. But if anybody who knows Nicole, drop this song in her DMs. I'll give you the title after, but these lyrics are so poignant, and it says sister, but we all can take these words for ourselves. So it's, sister, it's okay to take time out to readjust your crown. Make yourself a priority. And I can't even read my own handwriting. When you love yourself,
move on.
When you love yourself, you can love the rest. Does anybody know who that is? It's a fairly new
Ray,
artist.
Adjust Your Crown.
Huh?
Is it Ray or Rhea, Adjust Your Crown?
No.
Okay.
I wish I knew that song, because I probably would have used that. Finally, I stumped you guys. The artist is Selah, and the song is Love Yourself. It actually kind of got popularized on social media. A lot of people, you'll see them play it in their stories or, you know, on their different, you want me to say it again? Sister, it's okay to take time out to readjust your crown. Make yourself a priority. And when you love yourself, you can love the rest.
Nobody knows that. Move on.
Listen, that's worse than the clip. Thank you, Tim Pickens. Thank you. I'm not listening to you, Danny M. Thank you, Fritos Pour. You knew the song.
Look, the song don't lie. The song don't lie. The fact that nobody knows it means we just need to move on. Ain't nobody know that song.
But it's a beautiful song, though. I'm telling you, you gotta listen to this song. You know, I'm a music guy.
I'm sure it is.
So, look, are we going to dip our toe into the Devon IG story of it all?
Are y'all gonna tell the truth and shame the devil, or y'all gonna be tiptoeing around? Because it seems like Kojo the only one who wants to tell the truth around here.
Wait, what happened? What happened?
I gotta call you by your government name to get your attention because do not stress me out today, please.
Y'all are bugging. Well done. Sorry, I missed it. I was trying to.
Are we going to discuss the Devon IG live?
Please, let's go.
Or the IG clip that he put up there.
Okay, go for it.
Listen, one of our fellow panelists who has a growing, thriving YouTube channel of her own was able to catch the video and has it up there. So I'm gonna tee it up to you, El Cid, to share any thoughts that you may have, or share the video if you like.
No, it's 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes. You know, everybody can go watch it after the fact. Some watched it before, but y'all, Devon did a live last night or early in the wee hours of the morning where he shared a whole lot of stuff, and it is just under 10 minutes. It's on my channel. It's in the video section where he shared a lot. Okay, I'm sorry. He shared that Shannon and Mercedes, no bueno. He say Shannon is the op. Okay, he said that in the video. I just bleeped out some of the profanity lay stuff, but I did reach out to Devon and let him know that I had the video, and I gave him the courtesy of letting him know I was releasing it. So that's where it is. He also said that he shared private information about his medical history with Nicole and with Shannon, and his belief is that Shannon shared it with Mercedes, and Mercedes let it out at the reunion, and that was not cool. So that was just the gist of it.
That ain't the gist of it, El Cid.
Well, how far y'all want to go? All the way?
The point, so y'all, the whole gist of it is a couple of things. One, he said that Shannon was a 304, but he was trying to say that she wasn't a 304, but he said he don't shame her for being a 304. Yes, she's a 304. He also said that he was born with a medical condition that caused his thing, whatever, not to work. And so at some point he has gotten a procedure to make it work. Okay. Now, what he didn't like is the fact that he shared that with Shannon, and he feels as if Shannon told not only Mercedes, who mentioned it on the reunion without saying his name, but also that she told the entire cast that he had a mechanical whatever. I personally, and I know El Cid actually offered for him to come on. I would love for him to come on El Cid's platform, since he decided to volunteer his mechanical status, that, you know, things that we didn't know, actually that wasn't out, and just to share more about that, because I think there may be some misunderstandings about just what he can and cannot do, and you know, what type of illness that he was born with and how it's affected him mentally and how he overcame. I think that'll be a really, really good conversation. And I really do hope he does that, because I have a lot of questions that I won't ask on this platform, but him volunteering that medical status actually opens up more questions than we have answers. But basically, more or less, please check out the whole entire live. But he's very upset with Mercedes and Shannon for using his mechanical status against him. And he also wanted to clarify that although he's not shaming Shannon, he believed that she kind of exhibited 304 tendencies. And that is the reason why he just really couldn't, you know, see her as a wife. But you guys should look at that. there's been conflicting responses about that, you know, what the conversation actually was. Yeah.
I did invite him onto my platform to actually talk about what this was, because again, I think we need to have a mature conversation. A lot of people, a percentage of our population is, born with something or have issues of some kind. Okay. So I wanted to have, and he is invited on my platform to talk about exactly that. And, basically what he's willing to share, what he's willing to talk about. I want to have a mature conversation, because again, this too, for us ladies or other ladies who are in the dating world, you have no idea if you may encounter a gentleman who may have a similar situation. So we need to have at this point, some kind of compassion and understanding. And I really do want to understand. He said that in there about his ex and his life, with, his mechanical situation. But again, he really went in on Shannon and Mercedes for bringing it up. And they say that's why the show didn't put a lot of it out there, is what he's saying. He said that only what Mercedes was listing, like she had to deal with baby mama, she had to deal with mechanical, and that's as much as the show allowed for it to be aired. So, yes, there's an invitation for Devon to certainly come on my platform. That video is there. It is less than 10 minutes long. Okay.
But unfortunately, I think Lauren maybe hinted to this. When you share something so personal with one or two people, you do have to be okay with it being out. That has to be something that you have peace with on the inside. And it does seem like he's found some level of peace with it, because he's sharing it with the public, right? His mechanical status. But if you share that with people, that is somewhat relevant. No, it's beyond ED, y'all. It's beyond ED. He has a mechanical. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It's beyond ED.
Can you stop saying mechanical, please?
How else
you are taking me out? Thank you, Latrice. It's an implant, please. He has a mechanical. You are a whole attorney. I need you to knock it off.
It's because he said mechanical in the video. He said mechanical.
I'm sorry, because this is not funny. But
he said it, Sean.
Oh my gosh. He has an implant. Okay, I'll stop saying mechanical, but he said mechanical. Oh my God, I'm crying. Sean, you're making it worse.
I'm sorry. I just couldn't, because I was trying. I'm trying to moderate to the best of my ability, but I'm hanging on by a thread.
Now here's a deacon. Here is it. And I will say this, because the gentleman on the panel, again, gentlemen, y'all can't be afraid to have these kind of conversations amongst yourselves. Again, I mean, this ain't middle school. This is grown folks. But your conversation about stuff.
A lot of women may not care if you have the implant and it works. You know what I'm saying? If you have an implant and it works, and you got your money, you got your this and that, you're still a good man. There's plenty of women who would be A-okay with that, long as that it works. I mean, I just think you seem like you did what you had to do to address the situation. And so I definitely feel like it's something that, you're just going to have to come to terms with and just be honest with it and, go from there. But it seems like, honestly, his bigger issues are far beyond the implant mechanical device of it all. It seems like he got a lot more going on per Nicole, and just, being in tune with his star player. And that seems to go beyond whatever he got going on as far as the surgery of it all. Implants of it all. So
JR, I am completely surprised at you, because usually you're gonna stand in allegiance with the fellas. Now you clowning and talking about something being charged that's very unexpected,
But that's the thing, we're not
ableist over here.
We don't
You
know
know?
if it needs to be charged or not. That's the thing. There's questions people don't know.
There
And
is
that's-
nothing that needs to be charged that's inside of your body. Oh, we're going to put a pin in this conversation because we have a special guest. So I'm going to turn it to the original owner of the channel. Back to you, Kojo.
Damn, you didn't have to. You could have done your job. Yeah, I know you got it. But listen, welcome, guys. We got a special person to come on the panel. You know, last week we had Lauren and Ashanti's come up, answer some questions. Because this season I'm not doing interviews really per se. So because of the workload and stuff I'm doing behind the scenes. So I decided to get one of the people to come up on here and answer some questions because, of course, we watched Reunion. And the reunion left us with more questions than it did really answer some things. So I've also got the panelists here, and I know they've got questions to ask as well. So for those of you in the audience, welcome. This part of the live, I hope you're ready because it's about to go to members only. Yeah, because a special aspect, I've got a special person coming here, and you know, I have to make this a bit more special for those of us who have stayed with the channel and appreciate the content we've made. So I'm gonna bring up Bello up to the stage. Okay, you know him from Ready to Love. He was with Dominique, and we're gonna bring him on to the stage just to answer some questions for us. Master Bello.
How you doing?
How you doing, sir? How you doing?
Excellent, excellent. I do.
You day.
How you
Good
doing?
to see. I'm there. I'm in value.
Yeah.
You know me. Holidays got to be done. You know.
Yes.
It's good having you on here, Bello, man. Listen, look. Usually we do interviews every season, but this season we didn't do any interviews. So we got people who we can just come on the panel so they can answer a few questions because, you know, the audience want to know some key things as to what happened on the show. And of course, you're one of the most instrumental people on this particular season. You had a love affair with Dominique, which, you know, you guys went to the end, you chose each other, but after the show, things went a little bit sour. So I'm going to ask my first question, but of course, I will step back. The panelists will have their own questions they probably want to ask you as well. Keep it cute and classy as we always do. But I want to know, and I think everybody wants to know straight off the bat. Sir, what the frick happened? Because you were all in with Dominique. And you see me, I like dark arts. Okay, the panelists know I like dark arts. I understand dark arts. This felt like a dark arts movement. Let me explain what dark arts is. It can be manipulation. It can be used, it's mainly manipulation, but sometimes you can use different weapons to manipulate, right? Sometimes you can use the truth. Sometimes you can use weaponized incompetence. Sometimes we can use using the gray area, etc., etc., etc. You know, when it comes to these particular things. And with the Dominique situation, it did feel like, and that's our perspective, doesn't mean that's the truth, you're going to clear it up for us. It did feel a little bit like dark arts, you know, you not suddenly knowing that Christmas is an important day. Now, I know you're Muslim, but brother, you know Christmas is Christmas. You know it's a very powerful day for most people. So breaking up with somebody or them finding out information on Christmas Day feels a little bit diabolical, feels a little bit dark artsy. You know what I mean? Like, in that essence. So I guess my question to round up is, Master Bello, what actually happened between you and Dominique that you got to a point where you said to yourself, this is not going to work? I know the $600 dinner was there. Expand on all those things so we understand fully your perspective, because right now it's not looking good. But yeah. I want you to clear it up.
You know what? There's a lot of things. And one of the things that I've done is I've tried really hard to try and protect her brand, her character, and I didn't want to say anything that would diminish her because what we had was real. And I got nothing but love for her, and I didn't want the narrative of our experience on the show to be based on shortcomings, right? And I stand by that. And although it is very, 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 very tempting to just like spill the tea and just blast her, that's not really my character, to be honest. It's not really. But to clear things, I would say that I would say that the major thing, like the fact when we talk about religion, yes, I knew that she's Christian and I'm Muslim, right? But I didn't know that her father would have a beef with me, and he would articulate that beef on camera at the outing. I actually met her father off camera, and I think the reason why he had an issue with me being Muslim is because we spoke at length. Keep in mind, long story short, my father's an imam. I grew up. I went to Arabic school. What are you doing? Okay, anyways, yeah. So I went to Arabic school. I can speak, read, and write in Arabic. And I also I'm very well versed in the Bible. So when I met her father, him being a pastor, we talked in length about Genesis. We talked in length about Christianity, and we just spoke scripture. And we were just talking because I had questions, because somebody from the outside looking in, you're gonna seek to elaborate. So when the father first met me, he was like, "Oh wow, this brother's very learned and whatnot." Later, when Dominique told him that I was Christian, that I was Muslim, he was like, "Oh, hold up, we just had all this conversation and he's Muslim." You see what I'm saying? And then when he came, he's like, "I have a problem with him being Muslim." So from the onset, when I first met Dominique and we first started chopping it up and getting to know each other, everything was smooth. I met family members, everything was smooth. But when she articulated that I was Muslim to her father, he had a bone with that, and I wouldn't know. Our first interactions were smooth. So now that I know that the father is not in support, that's a factor. It wasn't a factor initially. So a lot of people are coming at me saying, "Oh, you knew this, you knew this." I knew that we accepted each other's religions, right? And we were willing to move through that. I said that I wanted my child to practice Islam, and I wanted her to be respectful of my religion. She was cool with that. But when Pop says, "I don't support this relationship," that's a different thing. And that's something I didn't know with our conversations that we had together. That's one thing. And in terms of the childbearing, all of that stuff, though, I don't know. Like we had a recap on T and a D, and she was very, very vocal about, I can have children. You're not God. You can't tell me where I can have children. For me, it's like, if you haven't had children in 25 years and you've had 2 miscarriages and you're fearful, and immediately when I say I want to have children, you tell me that, "Hey, I don't want to do that. I'd rather have a surrogate." That's not lending the idea that I can bear children. I want to bear children. Having an intent and wanting to do something is different than the ability to do it. And that, I don't want to, I don't know, like, I don't want to build something on, like, begrudgingly or on shaky footing, right? So these are some things. And to be honest, I think that the biggest clash between me and her is culture. Like, I gotta be honest with you, they're like, where her, the people she surrounds herself with, the way they engage, the things she says about people around her are not in alignment with my values. You know what I mean? So I think that the clash is more culture than anything. And religion feeds into culture, right? Child rearing feeds into the family unit, right? And again, like I said earlier, I said that when you're enthralled in a person, you're focused on that person. But when you get time to step back, you discuss with family, and you chop it up with friends, and you get to look at a whole rounded perspective. There's nothing wrong with having a change of heart. And I feel like I feel like in 6 weeks, I don't think that's long enough to make a life decision.
Okay, I hear that. In addition to that, of course, you addressed it in the reunion, the financial aspect.
Yes.
Let me give this aspect for, I guess, those of us who are watching. The consensus that might have been, not going to say might, the consensus that was kind of felt outside of the show, us watching as audiences, it's giving scammer. I'm kind of like you, okay? That's the consensus we kind of had. Not everybody, but we had a little bit of a consensus outside that is giving kind of scammer, right? Because obviously we're asking for loan from a brother. You know, usually when the finances aren't too tight, something usually happens like this. And of course, the dinners are a little bit excessive, but something happens that kind of tells us the money might not be right. So it's looking like scammer. I'm asking the question though, and a scammer's never going to tell us they're a scammer. So I'm not asking you to say you're not a scammer. What I'm saying to you is though, explain why that became an issue. And because I guess obviously for a lot of people, this financial aspect could be something that they're looking at and going, well, Bello, it doesn't look like you really had your money in order in this particular case. So, give us a bit more understanding around the financial aspect, how you and Dominique discussed what finances were looking like. Because, brother, you were also doing some things like, you know what, I can find a building for you. It's giving you got money, bro. So when it doesn't get backed up, it looks a little bit like it's giving scammer. So I want you to be able to break that down for us so we understand.
Okay, so there's a couple of things. So number one being that one of the things that happened on T&D was Ina asked Dominique, like, yo, do you feel like you owe Bello an apology? And I know for the women, they're like, what the hell are you talking about? And the reason is because I protected her brand. I chose not to speak ill of her or say anything that is to say anything that's not positive. And at the reunion, she sat next to me shaking. I held her hand and she said, I feel anxious. I almost threw up. I haven't seen you in a year and I am like, I almost wanted to go home. I said, I'm here. I'm with you. Don't worry. I held her hand and I'm like, yo, we're almost done. Let's just get through this. So I was consoling her. And she's like, promise me you're not going to say anything negative about me. And I'm like, I got you. I'm not going to say nothing. And then she blasted me. and the thing that I find is very interesting is the fact that, number one, you can Google me. I was number one in commercial sales for Realty Point Brokerage, number one 3 years in a row, top 3 highest commissions earned for Realty Point. I also, at the time of the show, I was building 55 condo units in Windsor. If you type in the city of Windsor, Bello, Southwood Lakes, you can do that. You can pull it up. You can see I was building 55 condo units, self-funded by myself. $25 million development, which I put up and bought the land for $3 million with my own cash. One of 2 developments I was working on. Also, I was building Southwood Lakes across the street, which is 33 detached homes. The homes were being sold at $1.6 million. I had a 10,000 square foot office that was an event hall and my real estate brokerage was upstairs. And I also had an investor suite. I was running all of those things while on the show. The thing that she misrepresented about my business was I was looking for a construction loan. I spoke to her in confidence, right? Every developer, everybody who's in real estate needs construction loans. If you type in Bello, City of Windsor developer, you'll see that I owned the 55 unit condo building and the 33 unit subdivision. I'm one of 8 developers, Black developers in Canada. I don't have to tout myself and what I do, but when my finances are held into question and somebody's calling me bro, and I'm doing my best to protect their character, I feel like I'm owed an apology. And I feel like when somebody says scammer, I literally for 6 years, 80% of my income, I saved and I put toward my development. 80% of, I lived on 20% of my income for over 5 years. Every single time I sold something, I reinvested and I flipped and I reinvested and reinvested. And that's what I do. I teach people generational wealth. If you type my name, Tosin Bello, Real Estate Awards, you'll see. I am what I say I am. And with Dominique, what she misrepresented was she said, oh, my brother's worth 50 million. His clients do business in Brampton, which is only 30 minutes away from Toronto and 3 hours away from Windsor. She said they are always investing in real estate. I said, okay, I'm looking for a construction loan, a mortgage for me to be able to continue my project. Connect me with these investors. I sent her my deck. I sent her my site plan. I sent her my plan of condominium. I sent her my plan of subdivision. I sent her architectural drawings. I sent her my net worth statement. I sent all of these details. And she said, I'm going to connect you with my brother's investors. So it's not like I'm coming saying, hey, give me a loan to buy a car. I had two $25 million developments of which I could not self-fund. I brought it to a point where I had all the approvals. I already had shovels in ground. I had already paid a servicing contractor $2.7 million to do the servicing. I already had that. All of these things, I'm happy to share the links and the documents. I have receipts for everything I'm saying. So don't come at me about being broke. If I am looking for a construction loan for a development, that's not outside of the realm of real estate developer. That's just par for the course. And I feel like she out of embarrassment wanted to diminish my brand. And that is something that I feel like deserve an apology for, which is ironic because she did apologize to me in person, but she refused to apologize to me in public. And again, going back to culture, I feel that I'm happy I made the decision that I made because these are very telling characteristics. If you look at how I present myself, how I carry myself, how I interact with her, I haven't done anything that is in condescension. I haven't done anything that is attacking her, nothing. Even when I was attacked, I still maintained a respectful disposition and demeanor. Anyways, I don't want to feel like I'm on a rant, but I want to clear my name. And again, I will send you whatever documents you need as receipts so that you know that I am what I say I am. And when people talk about Nigerians, you got to be very careful because Nigerians represent 1/5 of the Black population in the world. So if you use a black brush on a Nigerian, you're literally you're speaking ill of 20% of the Black population worldwide. We have 240 million, right? And and that builds on the distrust we have within the community. And I really like the scammer word is like something that I loathe because I work so hard to tread the right path, to do things properly. And when I get hit with that, it's a huge smack in the face. And again, I have receipts for everything I'm saying.
I appreciate that. My final question before I pass it to the panelists, I just said it last time, but I have one more question that came in my head. I don't know if you want to clear it up, but of course, when you did break up with Dominique, the rumors are that Bello, you are married, and actually it's within close proximity of you and Dominique, which is giving people the kind of feeling that, again, that kind of links to the scammer. That's why people kind of link it with the scammer kind of thing. Like it almost felt like a ruse in essence, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're willing to clear that up because again, if you know that's personal, but still,
that's fine. You know what?
maybe you can give us a bit of a background understanding here. Are you married? And if you are married, what happened? How did we get to the stage of getting married when we were on the show? Like, is the time limit very close? Because it seems like it was very close. So maybe you can help us clear that up.
Okay, so first off, the show was shot in October of 2024. We're now in 2026. So between October of 2024 to February of 2026, I am currently married, happily married. And I'm happy I made the decision because my wife is somebody who has supported me throughout all of all of this, let's say, all of the reviews, the responses, all of that, right? She wears it with me. And in fact, something came up about my outfit. She told me to wear my my white embellished outfit. And going back to it, I broke up with Dominique. Late December of 2024, and my wife, I met her about 5 years ago, and she moved to London, okay, and she moved to London. We broke up. We kept in touch, but things were rocky. And when I went through the experience, I'm like, damn, if I'm dating 10 women and nothing panned out, and I have this girl who I've known who's rock with me, and she came back into town. She came back into Toronto. I was like, you know what? I don't know why I've been delaying this. Like, let's do this. I had the support of my family. My mother was very supportive and an advocate for our union. And when I think about it, there were cultural differences with myself and Dominique. I didn't feel like there was an acceptance from her family, whereas with my current wife, she, our families were. She's Nigerian, she's Muslim, right? My mom embraced her, my father embraced her, her family embraced me, and we fell off for a minute and we rekindled, and that happens. People make decisions, people change direction in relationships, and I rekindled with my bestie.
Listen, I'm down for it. Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, being married is a beautiful thing. So I'm always here for people who are going to get married and take that leap of faith, regardless of the faith or the religion that the person chooses. So marriage is a beautiful thing. Just to clear up though, in between that time, it might not have been on purpose, but you did tell us some information which is very important. You said obviously you broke up Dominique in 2024 in December. Obviously you are married, but you didn't actually give us a date that you and your ex kind of started talking again. So was there overlap? Because I gotta ask that question because you didn't actually give us a date.
Okay, so
that's because for those, I'm to be honest with you, that's what we call dark arts around here.
Mm-hmm.
Where you get what your answer was kind of dark arts. It's like you didn't give me the specific, so it's like, but I heard it and I said there was no specific. So it was there overlap because yes, you're right. You broke up Dominique in 2024, mm-hmm. rightly so. But was the breakup due to the fact that there were still communications with the ex? Because she came back into your life and clearly you were still having communication. So is it because the ex was coming back into the situation? A brother's got to lie. I mean, you can plead the fifth if you want to. You never have to answer the question and answer it. But you want to plead the fifth, you can plead the fifth.
I think that there's a two-part. I think that's a two-part question, and I'm gonna answer one of the two parts. Number one, I wasn't married during the show, and I wasn't married while I was pursuing or courting Dominique. Full stop. Number two, with respect to my wife, was there overlap? Not really. There was overlap in, I would say there was overlap in the sense that it created urgency for me. Like, right? Like if things are rocky with a relationship that you're in and you're looking at an exit and you hear that somebody who you've rocked with, is coming into town, and like you hear they're coming into town, and you're like, you know what? Let me give this a shot. Let me give this a shot. Let me go do a clean break. One of the things I said about Dominique is I said, the moment that I feel that I'm not fully in this, I want to separate. I'm going to release you. And that's what I did. I made a clean break with Dominique, and I engaged with my now wife. There wasn't overlap where I was talking to her, telling her something while I was talking to Dominique. That wasn't happening. It was more, things were rocking with me and Dominique. I didn't feel she supported me. I felt like she was very self-centered. I felt like there was a lot of cultural differences. I felt like we didn't align on a number of things. And I'm like, you know what? This is not it. This is not it. And with my now wife, when I heard that she was coming into town, and I heard that and Dominique that was on the way out, I'm like, let me do a clean break and see what the future has with this.
Okay. I mean, so there was an overlap. Because you kind of said it without saying it. There's overlap.
Not dating.
There's no judgment from me. I'm saying to you that, listen, true love sometimes has what I like to call it, sometimes God has a way of, using a mess to bring a message, as somebody would say. Like sometimes things happen where it's not the cleanest of beginnings. Like I'm not here to shoot down, bro, because I'll be honest with you, like I've lived life long enough to know that not everything has a perfect start. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
In that essence, right? So it is understandable that you could have somebody who you have a past relationship with who comes back in at a time where you're still maybe in your head you're exiting, but you haven't exited yet. Men and women do this. It's not just a man thing. Women do this. Sometimes there is
right.
You know what I mean? Right. It's not a beef. It's you know what I mean?
Right. And one of the things that you know what, I'm gonna share something that kind of let me know where her heart was at, where her mind was at. Okay. I've been in real estate for 12 years. All right. Yeah. I grew up, born and raised in Toronto. I moved to Windsor because my developments are in Windsor. I decided, okay, Windsor's 10 minutes away from Detroit. I'm going to expand internationally into Detroit. Okay. I opened up a brokerage in Detroit. I don't have the same foothold in Detroit as I do in Windsor and Toronto. Now with Dominique, I talked to Dominique and she's like, you know what? I really thought about real estate. I was like, oh, really? You thought about doing real estate? I'm like, okay, no problem. I got you. I'll pay for your license. Join my brokerage. You're well known in Detroit. Let's build together. She's like, all right, bet. I'm like, okay. I send her some bread for her first real estate exam. She spends the bread on rent. I'm like, okay. Right? Okay. She spends the bread on rent. I'm like, okay. I don't say nothing. Now, fast forward.
Before you fast forward, sorry, I just need to just make sure I heard what I heard. So you say that you gave her money for an exam?
Yes.
And the money was spent on rent?
Yes.
My God. Okay.
So now I'm like, all right, cool. So now fast forward a couple weeks later, she tells me, and then I say to her, okay, you know what? Before you get your license, because it's going to take you some time to get your license, whatever. I'm like, let's promote together. And I'm like, I will cut my check with you. Whatever referrals that come in, I'm going to split my check with you so that, you could build on it, because she's talking about finances. Just to give you context, I'm a real estate developer building 33 detached homes, 55 condo units. Dominique works at Mont Blanc in the mall, Somerset Mall. So when she's talking to me about me being broke and my finances on national television, being a real estate developer, building 88 units, myself, self-funded, and she's working retail at Mont Blanc. If you drive to Mont Blanc, Somerset, you'll see Dominique. So when she's talking, anyways, so long story short, when we're talking about marketing, co-branding for real estate, she's like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to wait till I get my license. I'm like, okay, bet, cool, no problem. Then fast forward, she said, guess what? I'm like, what's up? She's like, I paid for the exam. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. All right. So I'm excited. I'm like, okay, cool. Guess what she says? She tells me that I'm going to pursue my license and I'm going to choose which brokerage I want to be a part of. After I done sent the bread for her to start her license and to join my brokerage and to work with me. So if we're building a future together, that ain't it. And when and fast forward, when she's talking about her brother and all of this, it's funny because I've only met her brother once. I sent him my investment deck. That's it. This conversation that she's talking about with her brother was a 3-month conversation that didn't end up in any fruitful connection. Not even a response email. Like, I've only met her brother once. So when I'm thinking about building a life with somebody, these actions are not encouraging at all.
Mr. I hear you. I'm going to yield the floor to the rest of the panelists if they have questions. I'll probably come back around and again, but I think you've answered some things that have expanded our understanding of what's happened as to why the relationship has gone the way it's gone. You know what I'm saying, Chu? So I'm hearing you, bro. I'm hearing you loud and clear. And, I can understand misappropriation of funds when you give it to somebody. I've witnessed it and been part of it, so I know how painful it is. It's actually quite scary for us as men specifically, because when you are looking to build with somebody and you're thinking about the future, you want to know that this is somebody who's going to steward the finance as well, and put themselves in a great position and you in a great position, right, to benefit both of you. So when that does happen, I can see how that can be a disjointed viewpoint when you're looking at the future as to whether this person can really be someone who's going to be building with you or they're going to be using you. So I get where you're coming from.
And I like the fact that you brought up that word about using. And for me, the part that I felt was very telling was, again, going to the real estate, wanting to build together, and then her deciding to go in a different direction. That's fine. Her saying, hey, I have a connection, and then not pursuing that connection that she's talking about. All talk. I'm like, okay, cool. And then at the same time, we're doing all these dates. We're doing, like, I'm spending. I have no problem with that. But I didn't feel support. And I wasn't asking for nothing, right? Like, if you are in a relationship with somebody and you guys are building something, it's nothing to promote your partner and what they're doing. Just to give context, we talked about her fly closet, how she wanted to basically take a whole bunch of like Louis V and all of these different brands and that she owned, and she wanted to lease them to people who couldn't afford to buy them. And I was like, okay, that makes sense, whatever. So I plugged that on the show. If you go back to the show, we talked in confidence, and I'm like, you know what? Let me promote and talk about what you're doing. I didn't get any of that. I didn't get any of that level of endorsement or support from her. And going back to what you said earlier was, I checked out a while back. And I'm like, there was attraction, and there was attraction, and I just kept getting hit with flags. But I'm like, why am I in this? So I made a clean cut, and it seemed like it was abrupt, but I checked out a while back. So.
Makes sense. I don't know if any of the panelists want to ask a question. CEO wants to ask a question. Yep.
Hi, Bello. So the things that you said have been very revealing, especially the mall part. and you spoke about the scamming and not wanting to be labeled that way, which I understand who wants to be labeled that way. But I think it's a lot of people feel that way because we can't get straight answers. And maybe it's the attorney in me, but if I don't get a straight answer, it feels like you're hiding something. So, for example, a lot of people are still saying they feel like you had a girlfriend the whole time. You said you didn't, but that's what it appears. But we still don't have a date that you actually got married. A month even. Was it in the first half of 2025, the first quarter? Not revealing that seems like, did you get married on New Year's? Like, when did you get married? Because it feels as if you did have a girlfriend if you can't say that.
We parted ways. We parted ways again, and we rekindled. I'm not giving a date.
First half of 2025.
I'm not giving a date. I just for context, I've never used Bengay in my life. Just for context, and
I don't care about the Bengay. We're talking about the marriage.
I got you. But I'm just saying, I'm giving context. Okay.
Okay.
I've never used Bengay. Never even heard of Bengay. And if you see this. This is my beard.
I can care less
So I know. So what I'm saying is people will assume something and they will create all different types of narratives. And right now, I'm not going to give a date because I don't want this to be dissected. I don't want this to be dissected. I don't want people to start searching more pictures and searching this. Like, to be honest, it's been actually been very hurtful for my wife because of the OWN network. We're not supposed to disclose our relationship status until after the show airs. And
right, we're done now.
Exactly. I understand. So what I'm saying is, she couldn't post pictures.
Right.
So imagine all her wedding pictures are being posted by a whole lot of random people without her consent, and she hasn't even posted on her own IG. I haven't even posted. So now things grow legs. And again, like I said, I'm not getting into that.
Well, I respect that. I'm just saying, we all make choices, right? Your choices that you want to protect the date, your wife, what time you got married. You also have to respect the fact that if people feel like you're giving a timeline up until that point, but you won't even give us even a time period that you got married, that people also have the right to assume that there's some overlap. It's not right, especially because on the show she said, and you had a girlfriend the whole time.
All right. So again, we're doing a recap of the show. And the show was aired in 2024. And going back to the whole girlfriend thing, I could tell you this with confidence. In fact, you could ask Lauren, or you could ask Donna. When I was dating Dominique, she said with her chest that I know Bello ain't talking to nobody. And there was an instance where Lauren inferred that I reached out to her at some point, and Dominique, and she inferred that to Donna, and Dominique didn't even need to ask me anything, and she's like, I know Bello, that's not Bello. And she still talked to me and told me as like an anecdote, like, hey, can you believe that these ladies were saying X? She's like, I don't believe shit. You can grab Dominique you guys can interview her and ask her if she feels that I was dating somebody throughout the time.
Lauren says lies. And to be fair, I mean, asking Dominique now, who says that she had a poor judge of character and that you were lying and scamming and taking money.
She's mad because we broke up. She's mad because we broke up and she didn't know why. And that's part of the thing. This recording is probably the first time that she's been given context, because I didn't want to negotiate my emotions and my feelings. I literally told her I don't feel like we're moving. I don't see a forever. and I want to release you, and I think you're an amazing person, but I don't see this moving in the direction that I need it to be moving in, and that's where I'm at. That's literally how I ended it, and the reason why, and part of the reason why she's so angry and she's so aggressive is because she doesn't know why I made that decision. When she watches this, she'll see. But I hadn't given her any context because I didn't want to be fighting over emotions or trying to, as you would say, bring in the attorney or the lawyer in you, right? I didn't want to do that. I'm just like, look, like, I want to have a clean break. This ain't working. I'm out. That's it.
So with that, here's the thing. I think we all can understand the disconnect, right? Somehow JR is big and he should not be. Okay, there we go. I think we all can understand the disconnect, the separate, the religion aspect, the fact that you want kids and she always was questionable about that. I think again where it seems like there was some ill intent is the fact that everyone could kind of see that you guys weren't aligned from the beginning, but you guys seems very steadfast on making it work, almost as if it was a business relationship. And then when the business relationship didn't work out, whatever you guys were trying to do, you were trying to promote her, you wanted her to support you, you even looked into the investment from the brother, then that didn't work. You cut her off on Christmas Eve.
But
my question to you is, what did you see? Because for me, I saw a woman that didn't seem aligned with you. She appeared to have a bad attitude. She was even rude to Lauren. She bullied Shannon out of a room just to sleep with you at the cabin. She gave kind of like basketball wife, things like that. Nothing that it seemed like a man of your stature, a man that's self-made, a man that has his own money, right? Never giving broke. Just trying to figure out, what did you see in her that all of a sudden, December 24th, you're like, no more. I don't want her no more.
You know what? She has a lot of redeeming qualities. I feel like Dominique, and she does put on a front. Like one thing, okay, so the qualities that I saw in her was she's very family oriented. Very, very, very family oriented. Her and her daughters, they rock together, they go out together. Her sister and her are like inseparable. She's really close with her mother. She respects her father. They have a great tight family unit. She goes to parties and clubs with her daughter and the boyfriend. We did a Halloween party at her daughter's boyfriend's house with all of the, like, keep in mind they're 25, Dominique's in her 40s. I'm not going to disclose her age, but whatever. She's very family oriented. She gave off being submissive. She gave off being very respectful with me, right? So when I spoke with my brother's like, yo, she's aggressive. She's ready to bite people's heads off. He's like, you got to worry about her. And I'm like, yo, I don't get that energy at all. So she purported being submissive. She purported being very respectful. She purported herself as, she is very family oriented. She fine, right? And those are the things that I saw. But a lot of, when you first meet somebody, you meet their representative. And as time moves on, the representative fades and you get to see who that person is. And I guess I was seeing what I wanted to see in her representative. But once that mask fell, I'm like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't it. And again, like just to give you context, the lying, like she literally lied to my face at the recap. She said, Bello, I could even show you pictures. You know what? I'm gonna send you these pictures. Okay. She hit me up. She still hits me up. She still, like, actually, you know what? I'm gonna show you something. This is funny. She still hits me up. Dominique. Let me show you this real quick.
This is why I block exes.
Okay. Look at this. Look, this is December 9th, right? Hold on. Can you guys read this? Can you read that?
Thank you.
I'm in a relationship. I can't take calls at booty call hour.
Yeah, that's it. She messaged me at 12:46.
LOL, what? You were calling her?
No, she called me. That's me. I'm blue. And
you're saying I'm in a relationship. I can't take calls at booty call hour. I got it.
December 9th, 2025.
Hold on, you saw it.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Hold on, let me show you. I'll show it to you. Hold on a sec. How do I
can't take booty calls, man? Now.
Yeah. So that is December 9th. Actually, let me go details. I'll show you the details of the text message. Hold up one sec. Look at it. Look at the date.
Yeah, 2025.
Okay. So she hit me up and I'm like, yo, like, please stop this. You're going to get me in trouble. Right. So, and
get out of the screen.
I'm part of the thing, part of the mean girl energy. Part of the mean girl energy that kept showing up was she'd be like, hey, Bello, let's take a picture. And then I'm like, okay, sure, no problem. We'll take a picture for the show, whatever. She would jump on my lap and do a selfie and then post. And she's like, I'm not going to post that. I swear, I promise I'm not going to post that. And then she would post it. And then she'd be, take it. I could show you. Actually, my wife had saved all of these stories that she did. She'll after we done broke up, we haven't talked in a year. The show's long done. She's posting pictures with me like this close, like doing all that. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And so anyways, so she literally apologized to me one-on-one. Hey, Bello, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have attacked you like that. I was wrong. And then on T and the D, Ina said, do you feel like you owe Bello an apology? All this broke shit, all this stuff. And she's like, no. And she just started saying, stand on business. She's like, I could buy $400 dinners and all this. And I'm just thinking to myself, girl, you work retail. Like, how much are you making? Why are you doing this? Why are you trying to purport that you're something you're not? Like, and I'll give you another example of something that I was like, come on, man. Going back to the brother, I only met him once. Her brother has another brother who, I don't know, I'm not going to get into their family stuff, but her brother employed the other brother full-time, paying him like $120 a year just to basically follow him around. And she's like, I don't even need to work. I could just work for my brother. And when I heard her say that, I felt sick to my stomach. I'm like, you would go on salary for your brother? She's like, I don't want to do it, but if I like my work, I don't like the boss, and she's doing this and she's telling me about all her office politics. And I'm like, when I think about Black excellence, when I think about building generational wealth, when I think about where I want the trajectory I want to go, I can't have my wife working for my brother-in-law. That's just not it. And that's
wait, Bello, why did you believe, just understanding that you could get a construction loan from her brother when his sister is working in retail? Like, was that not a red flag?
That's a really good. Okay, I'll explain it to you. So, and again, I don't know if this is true, but she said my brother's worth like $50 million. He does all his business here and there. And when I met him, he was driving a Rolls Royce, right? He pulled up with a Rolls Royce, right? And we were talking, and he said, Bello, he said straight up to me, and he gave me some good. He put me on game. He said, bro, you know the problem that you made? And I'm like, what's up with your development? He's like, you got to put a white face in front of your development, get all the approvals, get your construction loans, get a white face in front of you, and pop out when it's done. He's like, that's what I did. He's like, the thing is, you're Nigerian, and you see black people doing things in Nigeria, and you're used to that. But here in North America, you gotta put a white face in front of you and pop out. And when I thought about it, I did go through a lot of hardship trying to get approvals. I went through a lot of red tape to get my projects approved. And then when I got the approvals, I had problems with funding when, like, I had 35% down. Like, anyways, so when he told me that, I'm like, okay, bet. You know what? This is good. This is good advice. I'm gonna try and put somebody else in front. I don't gotta be the face. I don't have to be the face. You know? But anyways, going to the whole brother situation, she told me that he was paid and he knows people that are working in Brampton. And Brampton is like GTA, Greater Toronto Area. And I felt like, okay, maybe he can connect me with somebody. And again, it's not difficult. If you own land and I'm asking for a 50% loan on land for a construction loan, people who are in the real estate space understand 35 to 50% down, it's not hard to get a loan. That's strong security. If I mess up, they taking my land. I had land I bought for $3 million, it was worth 10. And I was asking for a $5 million loan. I'm asking for a mortgage.
I think the question I was asking was, if he couldn't even help his sister, why did you believe that he was going to be able to assist you?
Again, that goes to family dynamics and that goes to the way that they think. So the way her brother is the way he thinks is that if Dominique is with a boyfriend, if she has a boyfriend, the boyfriend should provide and take care of all of her finances. When she's single, he holds her down. When she's in a relationship, she's on her own. When she was with the NBA player, Voshan Leonard, he took care of it. When she was with, what was it called? Anthony, I don't remember his last name. When she was with that person, that person took care of the finances. So her brother has a rule that if you got a man, you're on your own. Get him to take care of your stuff. Why am I taking care of another man's responsibility? That man should take care of you. That's why the brother, when she's dating somebody, kind of has her on her own line, and that's a fact.
Okay, well, I'm gonna yield. I think you're beating some of the allegations, not all of them, because honestly, it seemed like you like Lauren more than you like Dominique. I'm still not even really understanding why Dominique was the route that you went when it seemed like you actually like Lauren more.
You know what? The problem is that with Lauren didn't give me what's the word? Lauren, she wasn't consistent at all. Like, just to give you context, the first mixer, the first time we sat down, we talked, blah, blah, blah. She's like, you have any kids? You got this, you got that? I'm like, yeah, I have a daughter. And she's like, okay, how old is your daughter? And at the time, my daughter was like 9 months. And she's like, you got a 9-month-old? And I explained the situation. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to go talk to some other people. She literally ended the conversation with, I'm going to go talk to some other people. I was just sitting there. She just got up. And then I was like, okay, bet. So at the end of the night, everyone's exchanging numbers. I didn't know we could exchange numbers. I've never been in this process. I thought everything had to be on camera. I didn't know. I actually wanted to go get her number. And then she had already left, and it was all good. Now I'm like, yo, she dismissed me. I'm not pursuing. Then when we had the roller skating, she rolled up on me and she's like, hey, Bello, you know, I'm feeling you. And I'm like, how are you? And she's like, I don't know why you haven't approached me. I'm like, you dismissed me on the first mixer. You dismissed me. You heard I had a daughter and you just dipped. How am I supposed to think that that's an invitation? She's like, oh, you know what? I was wrong. I felt like, hey, she's like, I said it abruptly because I said what I was thinking in that moment. It wasn't to dismiss you. And I'm like, okay, right? And then every date I went on, the women were saying that Lauren was sneak dissing me, saying Bello's a red flag because Bello has a daughter. Bello has this. So all of the women would come up to me and ask me questions about stuff that Lauren was saying about me. So now I'm talking to Ashley, and Ashley's like, so tell me, do you have a daughter? And I didn't have that conversation with Ashley. So I was like, okay, shoot. And she's like, some of the ladies. I'm like, let me guess. So then I tell Ashley, then Ashanti comes to me and says, hey, this and that. So a lot of the conversations I was having with Lauren were getting out to the other women, and the other women were checking me. So when I'm getting checked by everybody from conversations that I have with Lauren in confidence, I'm like, okay, she's talking, right? And then she comes back and she's like, I'm feeling you. And I'm just like, hold on. And the girls were saying that she was calling me a red flag. So I'm just like, I don't understand what is going on. So now she disappeared, calls me a red flag, disappears, dismisses me, says, I'm feeling you, I'll talk to you. And then we're talking, everything's cool. And then she disappears, comes back again. And I told her in that, Lauren's saying, give us an example. One example was she told the ladies that I'm a red flag because she felt like my timelines didn't add up with the baby situation. And then all the girls came and asked me a bunch of questions about the baby. Then I'm trying to think of, then when it came with her girls, her friends or whatever, she said that her girls were all saying that I came off like a politician and I didn't answer questions and blah, 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 and whatever, So there was just a bunch of, and go ahead.
Well, Bello, I mean, and how you doing? Welcome to the channel. And again, these aren't the easiest things to do sometimes, so we're trying to give you some grace. Mm-hmm. But what I want to kind of go around to, because I think what's happened a bit is that when we ask you a little bit of tough questions, you kind of start spilling other people's tea. So I would like to know. And this is a question I ask everybody. I asked Lauren when she was on here last week, like, if you could just think about you, like, what are some things that you could have done better in this process? Like, what did you learn? Like, what are some of the missteps you made? Because we've seen some, you may disagree. So I would just love to know, like, from a self-reflective place, like, what did you see and learn?
Well, a couple things is I feel like I locked in a little too early. And not only did I lock in a little too early, I feel like I was trying to be open to other connections, right? But I feel like I didn't give other connections the attention and the attention, and I didn't give other connections the same level of energy and effort that I did with Dom. And that's just, I don't know, I'm a serial monogamous. I go from a relationship all in, I drop, I go into relationship all in, I drop, I go into relationship all in. So the whole juggling thing is a little bit difficult for me. And outside of that, I feel like I should have elaborated more. And similar to what you just said, when I'm speaking, I'm very, I'm thinking of the word. I'm very fluid when I'm speaking. So one conversation could go into another, So sometimes the message that I want to get out is not as clear. And with production, they weren't able to get the full story of a lot of things, right? So I feel like that, I feel like I need to be more concise in my communication. I feel like I should have given more effort and energy to other connections. I should have locked in as early as I locked in. And
no, I love that. And I appreciate you for getting right to it and taking, that somewhat difficult question. So when you're thinking about who else would you have wanted to spend more time with on the cast? If, obviously you're married now, so no disrespect to your wife, but when you were in the process.
You know what? To be honest, when I think about it, it would have been Lauren or Ashanti. And the reason I say that is because if I'm thinking about building a legacy and building generational wealth for my family and somebody who's evenly yoked, Lauren is also in real estate. Lauren is a go-getter. She's articulate. She's well spoken, and I feel like she's a great woman. And I feel like I did lock in a little bit early, and I didn't give her the same energy that I gave Dominique, right? And yeah, so that, and Ashanti, I'm an avid reader. I read a book every 2 months, and I feel with Ashanti, we had a lot in common. And Ashanti's also an entrepreneur. She's somebody who she gets it. She understands being commission to commission. She understands work ethic. She understands the requisite skills to be successful. So I feel like Ashanti's really cool. And I feel like by the time I got to even have our first conversation with Ashanti, we were like episode 4, episode 5, right? So yeah, I feel like those are the two people that I probably would have been most aligned with.
Last question I'm going to ask you. It seemed like there was kind of like a thing, and like we as the viewers kind of saw like Lauren being targeted. Now, you know, we love Lauren here, but she also had a way of being in the mix of everything. But there were instances where it just seemed like people were just throwing her name out there. The reunion, Ashley threw her name out there. You know, we saw instances where Dom seemed to go back and forth with her in the ladies' lounge unnecessarily, or when you were, you know, when you were meeting with the family. Like, did you get a sense of that? Like, was there something? Was there some issue with the ladies and Lauren? Were you hearing that, or, you know, just curious.
You know what? To be honest, I feel like with Lauren, I feel the reason is it's a lot of posturing. I feel like she did a lot of posturing, and she's a slow burn. She's a slow burn, and things were moving a lot more faster than the pace that she's used to. And that's number one. And in terms of the ladies, again, if you're saying somebody's a red flag and then you're saying they're your top connection, you seem kind of wishy-washy, right? And the same thing, if a guy calls you a B and then suddenly like he's your top connection, seems kind of wishy-washy. And a lot of the things that she said, a lot of the things that she was doing were not fluid, right? Like a small example, she said she had 1.5 boyfriends. How's that a thing? How do you have 1.5 boyfriends? I don't get it. And in terms of the Dominique and that kind of thing, like, and this is just me just observing. Shannon really liked Steve. Shannon was about Steve. She talked to me and asked me for my advice on how to approach Steve. She asked Darius. She was really about Steve, right? And then Lauren pursued Steve. Shannon got kicked off, who I would say was probably like the most committed to him, got kicked off because of Lauren, and then Lauren ends up kicking off Steve because it ain't that deep with him. It's like, what? One person is like loving on this guy, ready to do anything for the dude, and then they're like, oh, that's nice. I'll take that. Oh, I'm not feeling that. You know, like, so.
Now, Bello, you are in the men's lounge, and the women's lounge works the same way. I mean, Lauren can't single-handedly get rid of one person. He has to not have enough women vying for him just the same way, you know, she would be staying on because there's enough men vying for her. I want to assume you had her in your top, like, so I think you're throwing us just a little bit because you said you liked her. She's somebody that during the process you want to spend more time with. And now it's like, you know, so we wanted your story to track, and it's going off the track because you're like praising her and now you're throwing her under the bus. I mean, I think there's a way to give feedback and say, hey, listen, these are some things I think she could have done better, but like, it's like,
all right, so
throwing her under the bus.
I'll be concise. I'll be concise. I'll be concise. I feel that she, you know what? I can't say it any other way. I feel like she was two-faced. I can't say it any other way. She would say one thing, she would be a different way with that person. She would say one thing, she'd be a different way with that person. And that threw off a lot of people. There's no other way. Like, I'm trying to be as concise as possible. She was two-faced. I know she's on the podcast, but I'm just being honest. She'd say she's feeling me, saying I'm a red flag. She'd say that she's mad at Vince, then he's her top connection. She say that, you know, she's rocking with Steve, then she kicks Steve off, right? Like, there's a lot of, right? And the thing is, with the ladies, they're legitimately pursuing these connections. They're legitimately in this process. I don't feel like Lauren was legitimately pursuing anybody. Like, she could say that I don't feel like she was legitimately pursuing anybody. I feel like she was somebody who was, I feel like she's somebody who was desirable, and a lot of people wanted to make a connection with her, but I don't feel like she had any, she was invested in any of those connections. And what's very telling is a conversation that we had. She said to me, she's like, Bello, I need to be number one connection for whoever I'm talking to. And I was like, okay, but I'm not your number one connection. She's like, that doesn't matter. And that's that was her perspective, right? So she wants to be the top in everybody's mind, but she didn't have to give that energy back. That doesn't seem like somebody who's committed to anybody or in that process, to be straightforward.
Understood. I'm getting where you're coming from. Okay. Obviously, you know, within that aspect, obviously you had that situation with Lauren and Dominique, where Lauren came to the date at the very end with your brother, and, you know, Dominique kind of, you know, shut down Lauren a little bit as well. In that instance, you kind of didn't give a straightforward answer again. So I'm going to ask two questions. The first one is, I'll put it black and white. Either, from my perspective, it sounds like, from how I'm seeing it, is either you're doing dark arts, which is that you are intentionally sidestepping questions in a way that you're answering it, but not all the way answering it. Or there's an other aspect, which is, and this is me being all the way respectful. Have you ever done a test for ADHD? I'm serious, bro. I'm saying that because because the last few seasons I interviewed, especially the men, a couple of seasons back beforehand, they have a way of spiraling into other stories, and I always thought maybe it's manipulative, but actually I realized that this actually also has a form of, someone calls it neurospicy, but it's like, have you ever looked into that? Because otherwise, the other aspect I'm thinking is you're trying to manipulate me because you're not actually answering the question by diverting into other topics. You know what I mean?
You know what? My mind goes a mile a minute. And sometimes I'm often thinking about the optics and how what I'm saying is going to land. So for example, with the two-face comment, I didn't want to insult her, and my intention is not to insult her, Lauren, but I couldn't think of a concise way of saying it, right? And so now going to the whole conversation with Dominique and Lauren, was I being manipulative? No, I was put in a high pressure situation. I, from the beginning, chose Dominique, and I was trying to be open to the possibility of talking to Lauren. Lauren has been wish-washy with me the whole season, but she's like, yo, I rock with you. So I'm like, okay, let me try and see where this is going. But now she put, like, let's say that we're building, let's say that we're establishing we're establishing a connection. I'm 100 of the way with Dominique, and I've only established maybe 40 or 60 with Lauren. And Lauren's saying, who do you choose? And I'm like, I don't have enough data. I literally don't have enough data. I don't have enough information. We haven't talked that much. We haven't spent that much time. So it was like, I'm sitting on camera in front of my strongest connection and my second strongest connection, which I don't have enough data on. I don't know enough. And she's like, do you want to pursue this? And I'm like, damn, like, right? I was buffering. So part of the reason why I didn't answer the question was because I didn't want to insult Dominique and what we had fostered. And I didn't want to dismiss Lauren, who I was open to a possibility with. So I was buffering because I'm like, what do? If I say, yes, I want to pursue this, Dominique's going to be like, I know you lying, right? And then at the same time, if I say that, no, Lauren, I don't want to do that, I would be lying. So I was put in a very weird situation on the spot in front of the two ladies. And if this was like, you know, if I was talking directly with Lauren, like, I wouldn't have to think about what Dominique and how she's going to perceive what I'm saying. If I was talking directly with Dominique, I wouldn't have to perceive what Lauren is saying. Now I'm managing two sets of emotions. And I have to articulate that. So was I being manipulative? No, I was trying my best to articulate myself and not diminish my my connection with both of my connections.
So I know you can't say production or things like that, you know, with the contract, but would you say overall you felt pressure, whether it be internally from Dom or just in general, to be with her and really lock things in with her?
No, that production didn't really have anything to do. Actually, production told me to be open. Like, you gotta be open, bro. Like, you're so like.
So why didn't you?
I feel like it was a little bit late. That conversation I had with production was at the cabin. The cabin is where they're like, yo, bro, you don't gotta lock in. And I'm thinking to myself, hold on. So we're all in a cabin together, and I'm not supposed to have locked in with anybody. Okay. That's interesting, right? So
what'd you think about that room situation where Shannon got the boot and packed up?
I think that was like a big sister, little sister situation. You got to remember that me and Shannon and Dominique, you guys may not have known this, but we drove almost 2 hours together up to the cabin. And we were talking, expressing like pleasantries. We were rocking together for 2 hours in a car. I was driving a car. So now when we get there, production's like, pick a room. And Dominique was like, Shannon's like, I want this room. Dominique's like, I want that room, right? And one of the things that is a little bit something that you guys won't know is that production told the men that we can't stay in a room with the ladies. So I was in a room with me, Darius, and Cardi. I was in a room, me, Darius, and Cardi. So when we first walked in, think about it. That's pressure. Imagine a man says, yo, let's take this room together. That's putting pressure on the women, right? So we were told day one, the first day of the cabin, men and women are separated. So that whole bag situation, Lauren caught wind of that before I did. Lauren's like, yo, why is your bag in front of Dominique's room? I'm like, what? And she's like, she took your bag and put it in front of her room. I'm like, I didn't even know that. Like, I put my bag at the front door. And then later on, like, I'm like, yo, like, we're not even supposed to be in the same room. Right?
So was that the conversation? Is what you just mentioned? What's the because Lauren says there's a conversation that you two had around the cabin and the room situation.
Oh, Lauren's okay. So Lauren said that, and again, this is a little bit a little bit late to the party, but Lauren said, hey, when we had the conversation, she's like, hey, I noticed that Dominique took your bag and put it next to her room. I'm like, I didn't even know. And she's like, well, if you're going to, she's like, well, if you're my connection and you're pursuing a connection with me, you can't bunk in a room with another connection. She said that.
That's it?
Say that again?
What you mean?
Didn't he say that again? I think I heard, but I didn't hear.
Lauren set me aside when Dominique took my bag and put it at her room, and she said, if you're, she said, none of my connections could be in a room with another lady.
Okay.
She said that.
And so, no, I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna pause.
What did you say? And what did you say to her in response to that?
You know what? For me, I was more responding to the bag situation. I'm like, bro, I didn't even know that happened. I just got in. Like literally, we walked into the building. I set my bag down, and Laura's like, hey, I want to talk to you. Let me chop it up for a minute. I'm like, okay. We started talking, and she's like, I want you to know that if you're my connection, you can't sleep in no room with no other lady. And I'm like, oh, okay. Why are you saying that? She's like, well, your bag was just moved into Dominique's room. And I'm like, I didn't even know that. So I was more responding to the fact that I didn't know that had happened. And that was the conversation that we had. The rest of the conversation escapes me. This is a long time ago. I don't remember the rest.
Did you tell her?
Did you say you're staying in the room or not?
Yeah.
Did you say you're going to stay in Dominique's room? That's the question. Did you tell Lauren that you're going to stay in Dominique's room?
No. No.
You said no.
Pardon?
You told Lauren no.
No. You said you were. Yeah, I did. That's true. I did that.
Oh, okay. Oh, you said you're not staying in her room. So
yeah.
You didn't stay in the room.
Oh. I didn't.
Oh. So to make sure there's congruency. Okay, cool. No, that makes sense. I get it. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying on that. Well, let me pass the buck to Elsie this far, because I know Elsie probably wants to ask some questions. If not, I don't know.
Thank you, Kojo. Hey, Bello.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I hear you have the sniffles, so I'll try to make this quick. So you were concerned about, we're talking about the show, about the lounge situation and Lauren talking in the lounge. What you said on the show that we saw was that she was assassinating your character in the ladies' lounge.
Yeah.
But you brought that up in the men's lounge in front of Tommy, sharing what was clearly given to you from the ladies' lounge.
Yes.
So how is it? I'm trying to wrap my head around. You got confidence, a confidential ladies' lounge conversation, and you brought it into the men's lounge in front of Tommy. I'm trying to figure out how that kind of jived and made sense, considering y'all aren't supposed to be sharing lounge information.
Well, I think I already answered that question, and the reason why I say that is because three of my connections came and asked me about questions that I had in confidence with Lauren. So if I only talk to Lauren about having a baby, and then 3 different ladies ask me about a baby, I know that she's talking about my baby in the lounge. That simple math, right?
It may not be in the lounge. It may be in group text, but I understand what you're saying. She for purposes, she may have told it to everybody in the one lounge setting. But again, what I'm saying is, in my mind, 2 wrongs don't make a right. If she's disclosing stuff in the lounge, I wouldn't be like, when I talk about it, I say Tommy should have checked it because lounge business is being shared.
Yeah.
But question also about the whole, I know you don't want to give a timeline, but I will ask, as of the filming date of the reunion, were you married?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for giving a straight answer on that much. Other than that, and I don't share everything. Concerning Dom and her brother and investors, and I have a bit of a background. Did you check if he was a certified investor at all? Because when you're dealing with that kind of property and that kind of money and that kind of bankroll, I only deal with certified investors. So did you check on that?
So I did not check on, I didn't check on her brother because her brother was never supposed to be my investor. It was supposed to be his connections that were investing in Brampton, who I never got to meet. And there was never an exchange of any conversation between them, right? Like Dom dangled a carrot and said, hey, I got all this, I know all this, and didn't do shit. She didn't do nothing. So I didn't need to vet the brother because I never was getting any funds from the brother. He was supposed to connect me with people who were already investing in Canada.
Understood. And I'm glad you used the analogy of a carrot. You know, a carrot is one of those roots that, you know, it grows underground and you don't know how, how can I say it? You don't know the depth and breadth of the carrot till you actually dig it up. And so even so, with the, as you said, the Rolodex of the brother, he may be connected. You know, again, you know, you have been in business for yourself for quite a while. Taking advice from the brother, I would have certainly looked into his background and how his money was gathered, because you never know.
Yeah, you know what? And speaking to that, one of the things that one of the reasons why I didn't feel any apprehension in sharing my site plan, my plan of subdivision, my condominium, my plan of basically the reason I didn't have any issue sharing my details is because my land is 100% owned by me. I had no partners. Only my corporation was owning it. So whatever I sent out, I wasn't worried that somebody was going to circumvent me because I already owned the land. And I was seeking a loan for land that I already owned, already had approvals for. And I was just getting a mortgage for taking the property from servicing to construction.
I understand that, Bello, but also with land and investments and stuff like that, especially taking on investors, you've got to know those investors because they can tank your project. They can tank your lending, your borrowing capability.
Absolutely.
Their reputation becomes your reputation. So that's why I was asking my line of question. But thank you so much.
Yeah, we didn't get to that point. I never met them. I didn't get an email. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get nothing. So
and that's why I find it interesting that you would share all of that of your portfolio information to people, especially if it's not, right before having an investment style meeting with them.
I sent it to my then girlfriend's brother, right?
And again, as someone with that type of wealth and that type of information, that then girlfriend has a lot of your financial information. While you do trust that person, what you have shared that you shared with her is a lot for a girlfriend and not a fiance to know of your financial information.
Yeah, you know what? And just to give context, because I agree with you, but just to give context, you got to remember that Dominique, her husband was a former NBA player, and Dominique she used to be the president of the NBA Wives Club. So all the NBA players, they were part of a wives club, and she had access to all of those people. She also, anyway, so I felt that when she said that I have a potential construction lender for you, I thought that based on her circle, that they would, something would come of it.
Oh, okay, based on her access to her Rolodex. Okay. Exactly. Thank you so much. Congratulations to you and the missus. Kojo, whoever's next.
I don't know if JR has any questions, and you're the last one, JR.
Yeah, I have a few questions. What's happening, Bello? Hope you're well, bro.
I'm good. Hold on, you sound like you have a Caribbean accent in there.
Yeah, Jamaican descent, bro.
What part? What parish?
St. Elizabeth and Kingston.
I went to Ochi, and I went to St. Anne's, 2021.
Okay. Nice place, bro. Nice place. I got family in Canada too, in Ontario.
That's
so I've been there. Okay, cool. Scarborough, Ontario.
Okay, so my mom lives in Markham. So Markham's about 15, 20 minutes from Scarborough.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, listen, I really enjoyed the season, and obviously your connection with Dominique, you locked in early. One of the questions I had is, obviously, with all the women that you had available to speak to, my thing was, first of all, with your faith and with your, I want to say what you're looking for in terms of having children or whatever, who did you think, and this is different to Sean's question, who did you think was most aligned with your purpose? Like, who did you think actually would fit you, even if you didn't have that romantic spark?
You know what? I feel like from a business standpoint, I would say Lauren, but from a ideology and way of thinking standpoint, family congruency standpoint, I would say Ashante.
Ashante, okay. And what made you not pursue Ashante more than Dominique?
It was like my relationship with Dominique was so mature that Ashante, and plus the other thing is that there's a lot of things that production doesn't catch, right? Like there was a point in time where it looked like everybody was locked in. And at one point in time, it looked like Ashante was locked in with Cardi, right? So, and keep in mind, me, Darius, and Cardi were all in the same cabin. So I'm respecting my dude, and he's respecting my relationship with Dom, right? So it was kind of like, oh, I'm feeling her, but I feel like my bro's talking to her, and they already have an established relationship, and he's respecting my established relationship, so I'm just going to fall back. Right?
Okay.
It's a little bit late to the party, that's all.
Right, okay. Did you ever feel that Lauren or Ashante could ever overtake Dominique in terms of being your top connection? Was there any point where you felt like, you know what, Lauren's looking good today, she, the conversation's been right, or Ashante, she's been spending a lot of time making those phone conversations or whatever, I'm going to have to move Dominique lower down?
That's a good question. I feel like there was like a small hint of that when me and Lauren went to the when we were on the water,
on the boat.
Like I would say, out of all the dates, that was probably the most fun date I had in the experience. That was the most fun date I had in the experience. And we really, I'm kind of happy that some of the stuff we talked about didn't show up in production. We went in, like we literally played Truth or Dare. There was a lot of conversations that we had. And again, like I said, my experience with Lauren was that it was wishy-washy. We have an amazing time, and then I didn't hear from her, and she didn't foster the connection. And it wasn't ever it wasn't ever fluid. It wasn't ever fluid. So, you know, you're not gonna, when you have something, when you have a relationship that is fluid and consistent, and then you have a relationship that's kind of like fair weather, you're gonna focus on the consistency, right? So
I hear that.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna mention. I thought you were gonna say it was the oxtails that won you over. But,
no, man. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me tell you this. Okay. Okay. By the way, I am Nigerian, but I grew up around a lot of Jamaicans. I can speak Patois fluent. I speak about 5 languages. I speak Arabic, English, Patois, Yoruba, and a little bit of Hindi. So my Patois is, anyways, I can speak Patois. So now, okay, it says life is real. JR. So JR, take it in. We had oxtail. All right. She boiled oxtail and put salt in the oxtail with no browning.
Oh, wow.
No browning. No oxtail seasoning. White rice. No rice and peas, bro. No plantain. No jerk.
So were you just being polite then when you complimented?
No, yo, she did no festival, no dumpling, none of them something, bro. The oxtail, again, I was protecting her. The oxtail was not on point, my G.
Not you protecting her from her oxtail recipe.
Wait a minute. So Chris lying. So Chris is lying.
Not on point, my G.
So the chef Chris is lying.
You get me? Whoa. Oh my God.
Well, look, bro.
Yeah, listen, man.
Off the bone.
Let me tell you something, because you said that you have family in and I'm switching up. You can hear the accent a little bit, but anyway, you told me you have family in Scarborough. Take this. One of my brethren, one of my close friends. His name is Oxtail God. All right. He lived next door to me, Marlon Melville. Okay. This guy, his name is Oxtail God. All right. So if I grew up living next door to a man named Oxtail God, do you think I know a little bit about oxtail?
For real.
Every Sunday I had boiled plantain. No, I had boiled plantain. I had boiled what's it called? Dumpling. We had oxtail, rice and peas, jerk chicken. I had so much Caribbean food. I know Caribbean food like the back of my hand. And I can tell you unequivocally, the oxtail was not nice, and I was being very, very censored.
That didn't stop you from sopping up other things, Bello.
You did a good job of protecting her, because you made it seem like those oxtails were finger licking good. Oh, you were like, so, and I think she was very taken in by the fact that you received that gesture so well.
I said A for effort because the thing is, she had, and going back to it, she's never cooked oxtail ever. That was the first time. So she got the oxtail, cooked the oxtail for the first time, and she just Googled it and did a thing, you know. So that's
okay.
What happened. So it's not. I'm not holding that to her in terms of her ability to cook. She can cook, but
okay. Talking about first times, because when you arrived at the house, was that the first time you guys locked lips? Was that the first kiss you had, without meaning to pry too much?
No.
Okay. So had you been to a house before? The actual dinner date? Okay. Because you look like you were fairly comfortable. You were met with a drink and a kiss before you went upstairs. So that's why I thought I'd ask. Okay, cool. Just moving on to the retreat. Did you feel like Lauren was justified in saying to you, if you spend the night with Dominique, then that's going to be trouble for our connection? Like, was there anything in you that said, we don't have a connection? Or, you know, where was your head at when she put that to you?
Well, you know what? I had privy information, right? So I already knew that we weren't going to be bunking anyway, because production said the men are not going to be bunking with the ladies, right? So it's not even my decision, right? At that point. And I was legitimately like, I was legitimately pursuing Dominique, but I was open to other connections. And Lauren was at that point my strongest, my other strongest connection, right? So like I was trying to maneuver, but again, in the cabin, Lauren wasn't like, I guess the more that I showed affection to Dominique, the further my interactions with Lauren became, right? So the only time that we really interacted in those 3 days was the conversation we had about the bag and the conversation we had where Dominique was like peering over her shoulder. And that was,
okay.
You know.
And did you begin to sense like a little rivalry beginning to, like a little competition taking place between Dominique and Lauren for your time and attention? As in, like, do you feel that they were trying to one up each other, trying to get your attention?
You know what? I feel like they were trying to one up each other just to one up each other. I don't think it was only for my attention, to be honest. And that's me being like just real about that. I feel like you know when a dude has a nice girl on his arm, and then a girl sees that, and a girl's like, yo, let me test that. Let me see if I still got it. Let me see if this dude is gonna give me play. I felt that type of energy. I didn't feel like I really like Tosin and we're both fighting over Tosin. I feel like Dominique was focused on me, and I feel like Lauren was more I feel like Lauren was like, hey, you know what? Let's see if I could pick this one off. That's how I feel.
Right.
And that's
right.
why I didn't get to that.
Okay. And I'll wrap it up. You know, I don't mean to come across like I'm interrogating, but there are just some questions I have from watching the show. So I'm going to fast forward all the way to the reunion. You look genuinely surprised with Dominique's recollection of how your connection and your relationship went, and then also how you guys finished. Now, she did, you know, open the can and really go in on you. Did you manage to come to a resolution afterwards that meant you both maintained like a civil space around each other? Because I've seen you on T and the D and a few other things. So are you guys cool now? Did you actually make up after the breakup? Or is there beef and animosity still?
You know what? I felt when she apologized to me, we made up and we were good. But then when I felt that in public, she was like, I ain't got nothing to apologize, when she was bold-faced, lying in front of a whole heap of people, we ain't cool. I'll be civil. If we have a photo op, I'll take a photo op. But if I get a phone call, I'm not taking that call. If she's going to hit me up to do anything, I'm not maintaining that relationship at all.
Right. Okay. And is that the same? Is that the same with Lauren as well?
You know what? To be honest, I don't have any problem with Lauren. I don't have any problem with Lauren. I actually, I respect her hustle, and I think that Lauren she's been very, very clever in her branding and everything she's doing in real estate. And I respect Lauren. I have no, and in terms of the experience, I don't feel like we've had any divisive conversation or interactions. Hey, it's all fair in love in love and war, right? So with Lauren, I think she's cool, and maybe at some point in time, I do a development. She could do some pre-construction sales. If there's some networking events or something, I would rock with her. She's cool. She's cool in my books.
Right. Okay. One complete last unrelated question. Did Vince and Darius ever look like they were going to come to blows other than what we saw towards the end of the season?
No, it was only that was the only one time. And I was surprised. I was very surprised. Yeah, I was very surprised. I was very surprised that it escalated that to that point. And I think it's just, what do you do when a dude is talking to your girl behind your back and it's not even a connection of his, right? Like, and Vince was doing a lot of sneak dissing to Darius the whole time, just nipping at him. And I'm surprised that didn't happen sooner in the experience,
right?
To be honest.
Okay.
So when it happened, I was like, okay, that's expected. But I thought it was just them like yapping at each other. If I didn't step in, I'm very confident that they would have traded blows. And the funny part about that was the first time in the entire experience that I was like, damn, where's security? There was no security. There was none of that. So
okay. All right, well, thank you for answering my questions, bro. And hopefully we catch up. Hopefully you come and do an interview with me sometime as well. Still.
All right.
Not trying to poach, but yeah, it'll be interesting to have a chat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
All right.
All right.
Well, Bello, listen, last leg of the questions, right? This is just to tie everything together now. Less about the show, but still about the show, but more about you personally. So with everything that you've answered, there's been some interesting behaviors that I've observed in terms of the answers and what you've given. So the first one I'm going to ask this question, I want to understand where it's coming from, right? So my questions are more about the why things are actually happening. In several instances, number one, you said about Dominique cooking weren't that great. You didn't tell her that at the time. Well, at least we didn't hear that you told her at the time, but you're telling us now. Fair enough. With the Lauren and the Dominique situation, you didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, so you kind of didn't tell the truth in that aspect. There seems to be a lot of passive behavior here, in essence of telling the truth that you may feel that it may hurt someone's feelings. I want to understand, where does this come from? Where did you observe this particular behavior? Is it something that happened? And I link a lot of things to childhood. So is it something that happened in childhood? What is it as to why, Bello, you're not as direct as you are when it comes to business? Because in business, it sounds like you're very in terms of what you're looking for, what you're trying to do. But in terms of relationship, there's a lot more passiveness in how you're dealing with women. And it's costing us a little bit of trouble in that aspect as well. So I want to know, where does that come from?
I think there's a lot of things. Number one being that I grew up in a single parent family, right? My mother raised me predominantly, and I grew up with my sister, was the oldest sister. I grew up with my grandma, my mother, my sister, my auntie, a lot of things, right? So and then my brother's 13 years. Oh no, sorry, my brother's 11 years younger than me, right? So from 0 to 11, it was just me full of women, right? And then my uncles, my mother is a beast, by the way. My mother actually brought about 6 family members. She sponsored 6 family members into Canada. So my uncles ended up coming and whatnot. So anyways, going to your question, I grew up around a lot of women. When you're dealing with men, there's the bravado, there's the aggression. I used to have a temper when I was a kid, and I've been expelled for fighting in school more than once. So I had to really learn to pause and articulate myself, because if I'm talking to my mother, talking to my sister, I could beat down somebody at school, but when I get home, I'm in a house full of glass. So going from being aggressive, playing basketball, playing football, getting into fights, doing all that, and then coming home and having to really articulate myself. And again, being African, when I'm speaking to my mother, I don't even look her in the eye. I have my head down. So the respect, the power dynamic has really helped me to cultivate, pause, and be very aware of how what I say lands and how it affects the people, and trying to do it in a respectful tone, because respect is a thing in Nigerian culture, right?
Absolutely.
Huge. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. It's interesting because I think that when, as much as there's respect for us as men who grew up around women, I also think there is there's also a disparity that kind of happens for us as men. I don't know if you can speak to this. And I say that because there is an awareness of the world that we live in. It's a patriarchal world, right? That we are, as men, when we show up in the world, we are the dominant force, right? So in the household, you're not the dominant force because you have a mum and sister who are older than you, and you are pushed to be more respectful. But like you said, of course, within that space, you have to change the way you operate, right? And I'm wondering, I guess, in this instance, what, if you don't mind answering, because I heard about mum, I heard about sister, I didn't hear about father, and maybe I misheard or whatever as well.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of the relationship aspect with your father and how you were influenced by the lack or by the interactions that you may have had with your father, because I think that plays a massive point or role in the way that we as men are engineered.
Yeah, you know what? Just to be candid, my mother and my father split up when I was about 2 or 3.
Okay.
And my father did his PhD of Islamic law at University of Toronto, and then he left and went back to Nigeria. My mom did her business bachelor's, and she did accounting in Canada, and then they split. So they were in school. My dad was doing his master's, and my mom was doing her undergrad, and then my dad obviously continued and did his PhD and whatnot. But they split, and my father had been in my life from a distance. So I would see my father anywhere between once every other year up to as much as 3 times a year. But my father, because he's written about 20 books on Islam, and he actually established in Scarborough a mosque. If you type in Isa Ade Bello founds a mosque, you'll see that in Scarborough, where JR is from. So my dad, because he was very a huge advocate of me learning the religion, and when it came to being fatherly, like, even though my father's all the way in Nigeria, if I got in trouble with my schooling, or if I got into a fight, I'd get a tongue lashing from my father. And I'm auditory. I was taught to be auditory. I think that's because of the respect I have for my father. So words really land heavily for me. And because words land heavily for me, I understand the power of the words, and I'm very aware of tonality, and how I say things and how they're supposed to land. So,
so I guess obviously, how then I know that obviously you may have had the auditory aspect in terms of the presence of a father, but how did it also impact you? Because you said you were fighting. So, how did it impact you as a young man growing up? So that people can really understand, because I think this plays a massive role for us as men, right? As men, we actually need other men. It's point blank, because there is nobody stronger than a man. I don't want to belittle women or anything like that, but I'm saying that there is nobody stronger than a man. Like your mom, your sisters, your aunties, they are not stronger than a man. When a man decides he wants to do something, there's no one that can stop him except our fellow man. And even then, it's difficult. So I want to know the influence of not having the physical presence and how that impacted you, because you physically wasn't there, but auditorily he was. So how did that impact you? Because you mentioned keywords here. It's like being in a glass house, and I think that's very purposeful in the way that you've used those words, because I know you're a very smart man.
Absolutely.
You recognize that the words are they can easily cause destruction in that particular environment. So how did it affect you not having that physical presence growing up for you?
I don't feel like it affected me, to be honest. I you know, my mom did a great job, and I never felt lack of leadership in the household. I never felt lack of leadership. And one of the things that one of the reasons that I'm so big on personal development is because anytime I had to reflect, I reflected either inward or spiritually, right? So I guess it started with, okay, if I can't talk to mom, right, then I'm gonna read about it, right? I'm gonna read about it, and if I can't read about it, then I'm just gonna ask for divine guidance. So I feel like, and again, my relationship with my father was very surface level until I would say like university, late high school situation. So like when I became a man, I had more manly conversations with my father, but most of my adolescent years, I was raised by my mom. And again, I felt no lack of a father figure at all. None of that. I can't tell you what I'm missing because I've never felt that. I don't know.
So you never felt there was a gap in that physically, that no father was present. It physically, like, okay, let me give an example. Who taught you how to? Okay, so, let's say for instance, can you ride a bike?
Yeah.
Who taught you how to ride a bike?
That's a damn good question. Myself.
Okay. Let's say.
Well,
okay, let's say. Go for it.
Yeah. So for example, the bike. I remember that. I used to live in Rexdale at that time. Rexdale is an inner city ghetto. All my friends were riding a bike without the training wheels. My mom put the training wheels on, and I wanted to take them off. I fell a bunch of times. My mom was like, "You need the training wheels." So I kept on riding the bike as much as I could, so I could not wear the training wheels and not look like an idiot in front of my other friends. Right. So my sister didn't know how to ride the bike, so she couldn't teach me. But I taught myself, right? Other people and I did it in private. I would ride around an area, and I didn't want nobody to see me rocking training wheels, right? But that's what it is.
Okay, I get that. And the reason why I ask that is because, again, I also taught myself how to ride a bike, right? Although I had mum and dad in my life per se, but I recognize how that impacted me. And because you use certain words, you know, when you said about being in a glass house, that's very intentional, those words, right? Because that house is run by a woman, not by a man.
Yes.
I'm going somewhere with this on purpose because it does impact you as a man, right? Because the restraint that you have changes. See, if you know yourself as a man yourself, right? If you're in a household and there is a young boy in that household, you become the final box stop. That child now can use its strength and its aggression, and it can go to its father's region because you can handle it. Can't do that when you get to a certain age. As you get to a certain age, you're now a danger. You're no longer seen as innocent. That's a robbery. That's what I said. So there has to be some level of impact for you because you can't be at a young age as you're growing to develop and you're becoming strong, right? Mentally, physically, as you're learning how to become a man and your body's changing, right? You can't even enact all the aspects. That's why you're saying outside you could do the fighting indoors. That's why I'm wondering, like, how can there not be an impact of not having the father figure in the home physically that you haven't noticed? That's like, do you know what I mean? Like, was there never days where you thought to yourself, I wish he was there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I guess it's easy to know the impact of something when you have it and then you lose it. But if you've never had it, how would you know what you're missing out on, right? And then the other thing is, my mom did remarry, and she married. And that's where my brother came from, right? And I'm not trying to throw any shade, but my father was physically not there, and my stepfather was physically there, but not there at all. And to be honest, me and my wife actually talk about this. She says that I have been the man of the house from my adolescence. My mom has always treated me like a peer.
Yes.
My mom has always treated me like a peer. And she and the accountability that she placed on me was very early, very early. So it's kind of like, so if you're not, so I guess I didn't feel the lack of a father figure because I was that figure and trying to
that man. Yeah.
So and that's where the personal development and cultivating the mind and trying to and that's where the leaning on the spiritual, because when you don't have answers, there's frustration, and when there's frustration, you need to seek and try and find. So it's either in words or in the word, right?
Yes. So, so thank you for even sharing that, because it's really helpful to understand something. And again, I talked to a lot of people about this as well. That what you encountered is, someone put in the chat, is parentification, and I talk about this a lot. Young men, young women, right, get parentified, right? So you've been put into a position of power and authority well before you're actually ready for it. Which, in essence, what I'm saying to you is, at 6 years old, you're carrying 20 kg weights. It's going to stunt your growth. So even though you're going to get some muscles, you're going to develop the body, there's parts of you that are going to be very immature. So emotionally, it's going to be very different from the Bello who can sort things out. I can guarantee that if I put Bello in a business situation, I'm saying, Bello, handle this for me, Bello's going to be like, even if he doesn't really know the whole situation, Bello going to figure it out, because that's where you've graduated, right? So in that space, you've graduated, you know it inside out. You can always, you can get into a situation and get back out of it. But emotionally, is why I'm picking up on it, is because the way that you handled the Lauren and the Dominique situation, several things were happening that I kind of picked up. Now, I know obviously partly it might have been businessy for you and Dominique, but the thing that it was very different from Dominique, from very Lauren, is what you said in the cabin. Dominique pursued you and Lauren did not. And when I say pursue, what I mean by that is Lauren never made it clear from the very jump that she desires you. And that is a turnoff. Because if you haven't got a father in your life, and I say it to the ladies too, they choose certain men on purpose. They don't recognize it, and they blame those men. They're the issue. The same way that when you're in your situation, you're going to be the issue. The issue here is that with Dominique, Dominique met you at a place of desire that you were very mutual. You found her attractive, she found you attractive, and she was not shy to let you know she likes you. Now that is a very powerful thing, because the very absence of what you've had is somebody desiring you and wanting you. I'm not talking about your mum. I'm talking about the fact that your father isn't there. This leaves a gap. It leaves a physical gap. So what Dominique, her energy towards you was like, I want Bello and didn't. That is very secure and very consistent, and it makes one feel very, very safe. Lauren was playing the same game, where she goes, I'm not really sure if I like you. Well, she does like you, but she won't say it out loud straight away, because she's also protecting her heart. And you can't read that very well. That's not very safe. So you're not going to start jumping out of the water to go and get her. I say this on purpose, because the way you talk about Lauren, it sounds like it could have been more of Lauren, but because she didn't pursue, or at least when I say pursue is the wrong word, because she didn't show outwardly that she wants you, this then became an unsafe connection. It's like, until she makes it very, very clear, 100%, it's very difficult then for you to trust that she actually likes you, which is understandable. But the part I'm really wanting to highlight towards the end of this whole situation is, you're going to be a very driven, ambitious man. You're going to always succeed. This is a guarantee. Like, you're going to succeed, bro. Whatever you put your mind to, you will succeed. It's happening already. The part that I want to highlight for you, because of the magnitude of man that you are, your level is, the ceiling is very, very high. And with that, because of some of your, and I'm going to call it avoidance techniques, some of the things that you were talking about, the reason why you and Dominique really met is because both, and I'm going to say this, I'm saying it sharply so I can make it very clear what I mean by this. Both of you are actors. And what I mean by actors is, you mask a lot of your true feelings about what's really going on, right? So when you and Dominique were getting together, she's playing a little bit of a game, but so are you. There's a mask, and the mask is vulnerability. The ability to be fully vulnerable and be fully yourself and not have no fear. Now, you may say to yourself, I am being fully me, but I can guarantee the fact that you're not even able to tell her that her cooking was sucking tells me you're not being fully yourself, right? So that, we can already see that's not you being fully yourself. If it had been a business proposal, you might have been able to tell the person, this sucks. But when it came to the relationship, this is what I said about the emotional maturity aspect, and I'm saying this because I'm growing in that area and I'm trying to be better in it. So I recognize what we're saying. So this is not a thing like, oh, I'm better than you. No. This is where we're all walking this journey together.
This is
in that
landing, by the
space.
way. I just want to let you
Huh?
know this is landing. This is landing.
Okay, thank you. I
A lot of
appreciate it.
what
I
you're saying
appreciate
is
it.
resonating with me.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So within that aspect, like I said, the ceiling is very high for you. You're going to be very ambitious. You're going to hit so many goals. The fear I have for you is because you're going to be so high, if you're not aware of where your blind spots are, you may not cheat physically, but emotionally someone can get you. Because the blind spot is desire. If you don't heal that wound where it's like being wanted and being needed, if you don't heal that wound, there will always be someone who will get you from somewhere else. Now you're married, so you're fantastic. But if there is even and this is me talking to us men, because we have to go through these things, right? We get caught out because everyone thinks that we're brutes and we're evil and we just want to just cheat. That's not what happens. Men make emotional decisions, same as women do, and we have blind spots. So when you have not been desired as a kid the way you need to be, when people come in, someone like a Dominique is a vixen. I call her a siren. She will speak to your soul of desire. Like I said this on the show. They will vouch me. There is no better than Dominique. I've not like on this show. I've not met anyone like Dominique. She can speak to your soul. Like it goes right through you and right to the inner core of you. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah,
how she makes you feel. And it's because she herself has felt invisible and she knows how to make you feel visible. So what I'm saying to you is this, as a cautionary, but also a growth aspect for you to also focus on, there is an impact of not having a father that's not present. It affects you in a way of being desired and being wanted. And it creates a hole somewhere. And then it pulls things towards you. So you'll cover up with the ambition and the career, but you always know that's why Dominique was so perfect for you, because actually she's a great compliment. She's everything that you're not. She's not a logical thinker like that. She's heart. You're more logical. She's more heart. But there's a part of you which is also heart. And that part of her where she's more heart speaks to you differently, bro. And as men, we need that. We need somebody who's gonna speak life into you. Bello, you're gonna need a woman that goes, Bello, do you know what, you can do it? Because no matter how much your father's away, if he's not present, he can't say that to your face. So those things that Dominique can do, oh, you're wonderful, you're great, you're amazing, you can go and do it. I'm relying on those things speak to you, man. They will always pull you in. But it's because there's a wound that's there, and then until we can begin to heal that, people like Dominique, there are people. I said there's no better than Dominique, but there'll be levels that you're going to with the money you're gonna make, and I'm sure you're aware that these things are gonna increase, and it will come out of left and right and center and everywhere you can imagine, because that's the part that is gonna always be tested. So it's just me saying to you that right now it may not seem like there was something missing. I had a father and mother in the home, but like you said, with a stepfather, he wasn't as necessarily present. And the missing part of that is you have to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
And that makes you a warrior. It makes you strong. It means you'll succeed, you achieve, but it makes it very hard to do teamwork. And you long for that, but you're also scared of actually opening yourself up emotionally to that, because if they disappoint you, this will kill you. It will hurt you more than a business proposal going wrong, because you can always make more money, but your heart can't always be mended the same way. And so disappointment and allowing someone to disappoint you, allowing someone to have a piece of your heart and trusting them, but that's another level. So I just wanted to share that with you, bro, just to say, like, bro, I see you and I respect their hustle, you know what I'm saying, to you, and I appreciate you coming on here and sharing yourself and being open and vulnerable with what you've shared. You get what I'm saying?
You know what's really crazy? And I know this is gonna sound cheesy, but it's okay. So much of what you said is my experience. I do I have trouble. I'm always the partner that people count on. I'm always the person that fixes the problem. But people, the moment that I'm on somebody's team, they're like, okay, Bello got this, and they disappear. And I'm left with everything. And I find that partnership has been very difficult for me. And I have ran solo, and a lot of partnerships that a lot of partnerships have been difficult for me, and I've done a lot of things on my own. That's why my development corporation is by itself. And what's crazy, and I'm just making a segue, and it's because of what you're saying, I'm going to share something with you. I'm writing a book. It has to do with real estate. And then I sprinkled a little bit of Ready to Love in it because it's something recent. I'm going to share a chapter with you, and it speaks It speaks literally about my experience, rise and fall. Because one of the things that was really difficult for me is when Dominique was talking about my my project being in disarray. Was fast forward 2026, I lost my project, and I have to rebuild. And one of the reasons why I was looking for an apology was because she was talking about, at that time, everything was on the up, and then fast forward, I lost a project and I'm rebuilding. Both projects. So when she was speaking on it, it was really painful because somebody who I trust and I became vulnerable with, and I shared information with, and I was trying to figure something out that I was on an island pursuing, tried to put me on blast, which is crazy, especially in her position versus my position at that time and even now. But going to what you were saying, one of the things that I've resolved to do in 2026 is to do joint ventures, to collaborate with people, and to really look for and hone in and foster partnership, because I feel that I take complete ownership, and I've learned a lot from my rise and my fall. From my rise and my fall and my rebuild, and all of that I'm going to share with you in that chapter. It's just crazy that you are able to read so much about me from what you've observed. It's crazy. It's actually really crazy. And a lot of what you're talking about, again, going back to the research, I actually sat down with ChatGPT and went through like a whole structure and plan, and did the whole thing of how I can overcome my shortcomings. And what I found was that I need to do more collaboration, more joint ventures. I can't stand only by myself, and I can't lead everybody without having supports. Because they say, you want to build quick, do it yourself. Right? You want to go far, do it with a team. And I'm literally a living example of that. I went from owning a condo to building a condo development, buying a house to building a community, and then losing the community and starting again. And one of the reasons why I developed AKENLUXE REIT was because I would buy something, invest, do it myself, build, rinse and repeat. But then I'm very, my resources are limited, and one of my superpowers is finding opportunities. So what I had to do, and what I've resolved to do in 2026, is to do more joint ventures, collaborate with people, find the opportunity, and have people collaborate from the beginning, rather than like hunt, gather, and do it myself, and then say, hey, come when it's done. And that's why I decided to create AKENLUXE REIT, which basically finds the funds first, then buys the asset, which is way easier than me bootstrapping and doing it all myself. Yeah. But yeah, man, you hit so many things on the nail, and I think that I want to have a further conversation with you about this. And again, going back to the I guess the blind sites for me, I feel like I don't see progress or benefit in looking at my past and saying, "Oh, I was lacking in this manner," because I can't do anything about that. I can't make my father come back and restart my past, right? I can only focus on where I am and take steps forward. So for me, I've always focused on what do I have and how can I build and cultivate what I have and do the best with what I have. And I'm still of that. Ideology. But what you brought to my attention is You know, sometimes you have to look at, sometimes you don't see your shortcomings. And when you're not able to see your shortcomings, you're not able to plan to navigate that. And you hit a lot of things you said resonate with me. And I'd like to have a further conversation with you later.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. And I think it's a good note on, we can end on here, because I think this is always a positive when men can get to speak and just kind of share things. And it's funny, you said something that I need to start working on, which is collaborations, bro, because I can't collaborate.
Yeah, man.
I do everything myself. Like, this is as far as I can collaborate. The panelists know that I trust them. I trust Sean enough to start the channel, you know what I'm saying, to and start the live show and everything like that. But outside of this community, I find it hard to collaborate with people, and that's in everything. So you've given me a word to also kind of work on, because I know the Lord told me about this last year, but to struggle sometimes to trust, you know, and open yourself up in that way. So I appreciate you sharing that information, because it's helped me as well. It's opened me up in that place. So thank you for that. Okay, we're gonna bring it to a close, but I'm gonna let the deacon, which is above you, Sean. He's a deacon of the channel. We let him close us out on some final words. I know we didn't get to finish off the show, but the rest of the things we can do it. On a Tuesday. You guys can go again. I'll set up another live so you can go again. But I would love to end on this note. So Sean, if you can give us just the closing kind of remarks and conclusion, and we'll sign out, and we'll be behind backstage. Go for it, Sean.
Yeah, so just shout out to all the panelists that joined us today. El Cid, Seaway, JR, appreciate, all you coming out. I know Jay was in the comments earlier. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us on the panel tonight. But, really good discussion. I know this was a long one, but, I hope that everybody took something away from these conversations. I think that's the great thing about this channel and this platform, is that we do have fun. We may, dabble in a little bit of tea and gossip and what have you, but at the end of the day, we are looking to get better, always looking for the lessons and the ways that we can learn how to love. And that's why we really do love the show Ready to Love. Shout out to you, Bello, for joining us. And, it was a firing squad.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Definitely our pleasure. And we appreciate you, taking some of the heavy hitting questions that we posed to you tonight. One of the things that I like to do, and I've done it throughout the live, and Bella, maybe you haven't heard, but I always attach a song, or I like to attach a song, which wraps up the sentiment of what we're discussing. And there's two songs tonight. One for you, Bello. It is a very popular song that has been sampled, but I think it's apropos, not just for you, but for all of us in looking to get better in love. And it's, I was told the true definition of a man was to never cry, work till you're tired, got to provide, always be the rock for my fam, protect them by all means, and give you the things that you need, baby. Our relationship is suffering, trying to give you what I never had. You say that I don't know how to love you, babe. Well, I say, show me the way. I keep my feelings deep inside. I channel them with my pride. I'm trying desperately. Baby, just work with me. Teach me how to love. And I think we all need to say these words, man and woman, to our respective partners, because true love is loving the person the way that they want to be loved. So we all need to be taught how to love by the person that we're in love with. So I think that is one of the greatest lessons. I think just recapping the whole entire season, I think one of the biggest lessons for all of us was don't ignore those red flags. They're not green, they're red, and they're red for a reason. Red means stop. And if you're feeling the stop, observe and acknowledge the stop. Don't keep going. Don't pass go. Stop and revert and go away from whatever it is that is sensing you to stop. Because so often when we don't stop, we run into an intersection, and in many instances, there's danger in that intersection. Sometimes we escape catastrophic danger, but sometimes we don't. So we don't want to put ourselves in harm's way, and we want to make sure that we pay attention to life's red flags. Next song that I want to play for us is or hear the lyrics, and this is in summary for all of us. If anything you know about this channel, we are rooted in Christ. We are rooted in God. That is where our belief system resides. And I think we believe that everything, there's a thread and a lesson and how we get better spiritually. So this song is Make Me Over. And I think as we make mistakes, which we all do, none of us are perfect. We need to be asking for renewal and a remake of our situations. So this, I'm just going to read a few of the lyrics and then I will close out. I can no longer hide. I let you down so many times. Sin freshly crucifies. Thought I had a plan. I had it all figured out. But the more that you tried to be by my side, the more I pushed you out. Lord, make me over. Make me over, Lord. Lord, make me over. Make me over again. Lord, make me over. And I think this rings true for all of us of all faiths, all of us that believe in a higher power. We are constantly looking to be remade and reevaluated and shaped and transformed. So if we want to be ready to love, if we want to love, we have to be willing to be changed, transformed, and learn and become anew. Back to you, Coach.
Thank you very much, Deacon. I appreciate that. Panelists, thank you so much. T-Way, JR, Sean, and Bello, thank you for coming through. And like Sean said, it is a bit of a firing squad. We asked you very direct questions, and you took it on the chin, and we appreciate that. Well, it's never easy, so thank you very much for that. Audience, for those of you who've been watching, we appreciate you. I hope you've learned some key lessons here. As always, we like to make sure that we're learning something. Ready to Love is one of our favorite shows. And we love it because I guess it rings true to a lot of some of the dating that we've seen either in the market or experienced ourselves or currently going through. But there's always a lesson we can learn ourselves. So I appreciate everybody here, and thank you very much for being involved with this show as well. We're on to the 4-hour mark at this point, but it's fantastic. And we will see you again very, very soon. I think, Sean, you're going to have to end it because I don't think I can see the button for end it. So if you could end the live for me, Sean. Sorry, because on my end, I don't see the end button. It's going to end in a second, guys.